A bit of a slow start, but they seem to be getting everything together, and they will be a force to be reckoned with come playoff time.
Absolutely. Coming up on Sportsline, much more, including Thursday Night Football. Stay right there.
Kicking off and defending the south end of Taylor Field, and the kickoff is a deep one to Michael Plant, and he is up the left sidelines, takes it across the 30, across the 35, and is brought down at the 38-yard line, where the Edmonton Wildcats will start this game 1st and 10.
Well, the Regina Rams are going to have the wind here in the first quarter, the wind actually blowing from the south to the north, something that you don't see very often at Taylor Field, but Regina Rams with that wind at their back, see if they can really get this ball back quickly from this Edmonton Wildcat offense and get their offense on the field as soon as they can.
Chris Hardy is the starting quarterback for the Wildcats, ranked 4th in the PFC, and on first down he gets to Len Andrews. He goes off tackle to the right side, and he will have a gain of 4 yards to start this game.
Well, this is what made Chris Hardy so effective in that last meeting with the Regina Rams, was the ability of Len Andrews to run that off tackle play. Regina Rams have worked hard on that all week long to make sure they shut that down. Andrews cracks off about a 4-yard pickup out to the 42. That'll leave the Wildcats now 2nd and 6.
Hardy is the quarterback. Len Andrews, Sean Healy are the running backs. Scott Vicarious, Matt Cunningham, the wideouts. And Kelly Morin and Colin Andrews are the slot backs. 2nd and 6 for the Wildcats from their own 42-yard line. Hardy wants to pass, drops straight back, looking across the middle. It is complete to number 21. That is Colin Andrews, and that will be a first down into Rams territory at about the Rams' 49-yard line.
And a little arguing going on down there, actually at the Ram 45-yard line. A big hit put on by Jeff Haggerty right after the Wildcat receiver came down with the ball. It actually popped out, but the official on the spot ruled that he was down when he hit the ground. The ball came out after, so a big first down for the Edmonton Wildcats in that 24-yard pass play from Chris Hardy.
They have it, 1st and 10 at the Rams' 45-yard line. Hardy gives to Andrews. This time he goes off tackle to the left side, and we'll have another gain of about 4 yards.
Well, I think the Regina Ram defense is actually going to be pretty happy with that. If they can hold Len Andrews to under 5 yards on that first down play and force Chris Hardy into that passing situation, certainly don't feel that Chris Hardy is capable of beating them with the pass. Tremendous runner, but doesn't exhibit a lot of skills in terms of the passing department. We'll see what happens on this 2nd down play.
Len Andrews, the top-rated rusher heading into this game. He finished 1st in the PFC, 5th in the country, 136 rushes for 723 yards and 6 touchdowns. It is 2nd and 6 for the Wildcats. Hardy wants to try and run this way. No way this time, folks. Mike Gomilo comes into the backfield and brings them down for a big loss of about 5 yards. It will be 3rd and about 15 yards to go for the Edmonton Wildcats. They will be forced to punt.
Well, and that is a very big play for the Regina Ram defense. Again, this is the other thing that they have worked hard on all week long, and that is containing the quarterback, Chris Hardy. Mike Milo doing a good job from that rush end position over on the wide side of the field. Gets Hardy for a big loss. Wildcats will be punting.
Hardy is also the punter, and he gets kind of clipped there at the end. No flag down. Jason Beulah standing back at his own 10-yard line. There is a flag down there. Beulah brings it across the 15 to about the 18-yard line. So there is a flag down. No yards should be the call.
Well, that's what the call is going to be. Chris Hardy actually got knocked down on that play, but he was knocked down because one of the Regina Ram rushers was actually hit by one of his blockers. He was looking for a flag at the other end of the play, but official on the spot said, no way, that was one of the Wildcat players that knocked him into you. The Regina Rams are going to pick up an additional 15 yards in that no yards penalty. So now with their first chance and the wind at their back, Darrell Leeson trots onto the field.
Darrell Leeson, the #1 quarterback in the entire country. 105 completions and 210 attempts, a 50% success rate for 1,660 yards. He has thrown 9 interceptions and 11 touchdown passes. We'll talk to you about his rushing stats after this play here. It is 1st and 10 for the Rams from their own 25-yard line. Leeson fumbles the snap and falls on the ball. It will be 2nd and about 11. Not a good start for the Regina Rams.
Well, you see a little bit of the playoff jitters, I guess, if you like, out there. Darrell Leeson just trying to go on first sound that time. Steps up behind the center, Darren Burden. Makes that first noise. The ball comes up quickly but falls to the ground. Very fortunate for Darrell Leeson. He was able to fall on top of it. It's going to be about a yard loss on the play just inside the 25-yard line of the Rams. They'll go from there, 2nd and 11.
Jamie Bailey and Todd Ortner are the running backs. Josh Shaw, Jason Beulah, the wideouts. Chad Eamon and Sean Harvey are the slot backs. Leeson wants to run on 2nd and 11, and he'll have a gain of about 9 yards. Tough going there for him, Paul.
Well, no question about it. Tried to run that quarterback draw, but it didn't really open up as well as he might have expected it to in front of him. And one of the Wildcat defensive linemen got an arm on him just as he crossed the line of scrimmage. That slowed him down a bit, but he was able to stay on his feet and scramble out to the 33-yard line. That's going to leave them about 3 yards short of that first down marker, and that will bring Matt Kellett on, one of the very best punters in the PFC here, and we've talked about him a lot on a lot of broadcasts. He's got the wind behind him, so look for a big kick here from Matt Kellett.
Yeah, he has booted an 80-yarder this season. That is the longest in the PFC. His average, 39.6. He's also kicked for 7 singles. Gets away at Dandy here. It's low, but it is deep, and it is fielded at the 30-yard line. Brings it across the 40 and is tackled at the 41-yard line. The first man downfield there was Royal Hardin. On the return, it was Matt Cunningham.
Well, a good 44-yard boot by Matt Kellett that time. Not getting the height that he really wanted on it to allow those punt coverage team to get down underneath it, but pretty good job by special teams. Again, the Regina Rams with the wind at their back here want to try to take advantage of that. See if they can get some field position. Wildcats had a nice little drive in their opening sequence. We'll see how they do here the second time they get their hands on the ball.
The Rams defense, Dennis Losey, Michael Milo are the ends. Steve Earn and Chad Zipchen are the tackles. On 1st and 10, Hardy rolling out to his left. Looking downfield, it is intercepted! At center field, that is Marco Ricci across the 45-yard line and is pushed to the bounds at about the 42. The Rams take over the first big turnover of the ball game.
Well, a very big turnover for the Regina Rams. We talked about field position, and that's going to be about a 40-yard difference in field position right there for the Regina Rams. Marco Ricci just dropping off into that flat area over on the far side of the field. Perfect zone coverage. The ball was thrown right to him. Comes up with the catch and gets it down to the 43-yard line of the Wildcats. That will bring Darrell Leeson and his offensive mates back onto the field again.
Leeson at quarterback has it 1st and 10 from the 42. You don't want to give a guy like Darrell Leeson a break like this early in the ball game. He is rolling out to his left. He will run to the 35, the 30, and is finally forced out of bounds to the 25. That will be a Regina Rams first down.
Well, Darrell Leeson, obviously one of the top rushers in the PFC, finished 3rd actually in the regular season. 641 yards on 65 carries for a 9.9-yard average. He did better than that on that particular play, scampering for 17 yards. Brings it down inside the 25-yard line of the Wildcats. Ball just nudging that 24. A big first down for the Regina Rams. They'd certainly like to get some points on the board early here. Get out in front of this Wildcat team and see if they can make them do some things that they really don't want to do here on offense.
That 9.9-yard average, by the way, Paul, is by far #1 in the country. The pitch is to Mike Maurer on 1st down, and he lost the football, did he? But I think the Rams got it back. Give Maurer a gain of about, maybe 3 yards.
Well, not much doing on that off-tackle play. Just trying to go to the right side of that big Regina Ram offensive line. Scott Waters, the big tackle over there, was able to give him a little bit of a crack, but Mike Maurer unable to squeeze through there. Picks up, as you said, Ron, about 2 yards. The ball's right in the middle of the field, though. They'll be looking at 2nd and 8 from there.
Scott Waters and Corey Borsa are the tackles. Dougie Clark, Trent Langford are the guards. Darren Bird is the center. On 2nd and 8, Leeson wants to pass, pumps once, then looks the opposite way to the end zone. He was looking for Josh Shaw, I believe, over there. No, that was actually Sean Harvey. Harvey kind of slipped and fell on the play. The play was incomplete. Matt Keller will come on to attempt a field goal.
Well, just lost his footing as he broke to that far sideline. Sean Harvey looked like he was going to be all right. It was the second receiver, actually, that Darrell Leeson was looking downfield, actually, to his left and elected to come back to the right, but lost his footing, slipped, was unable to get back to his feet, falls for a long incompletion. So that'll bring Matt Keller onto the field now. He'll be trying a 29-yard field goal with the wind at his back.
During the regular season, Matt was good on 8 of 16 field goals. His longest, 50-yarder right here at Taylor Field. This one should be in his range, but it is blocked by the Edmonton Wildcats. They recover the football at the 40-yard line, and there's another turnover for you. We have no score yet between the Edmonton Wildcats and the Regina Rams. When we come back, the Wildcats will have it 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. You are listening to Rams football on 980 CKRM.
40-yard line.
How many more, Larry? But he is brought down in the backfield by rookie Chad Zipchen. You want to talk about penetration, Paul? We had it right there.
Well, that's exactly what the Regina Ram defense needs from those defensive linemen, and that is get across the line of scrimmage and disrupt the flow of those offensive plays. Chad Zipchen played that one perfectly, just shooting through the gap. He gets Andrews down for a big 5-yard loss. Wildcats now 2nd and 15.
Hardy in an obvious passing situation, but gives it to Andrews. Big hole for him up the middle. He will be stopped short of the first down by at least a yard and a half, make it 2 yards. It will be 3rd and about 2 for the Edmonton Wildcats, but we do have a holding call on the play, so it is coming back.
Yeah, that's going to be a holding call on the Edmonton Wildcats that time. Carlo Pinero, a big offensive lineman for the Edmonton Wildcats, just had a grab or a grasp of Randy Sorchinski, the linebacker there. That's what allowed the Andrews to spring through there cleanly. So that's going to back them up to the 25-yard line now. The Edmonton Wildcats will be looking at 2nd and 25 from their own 25-yard line.
An uphill battle from back there. Hardy in an obvious passing situation again, but the last time we said that, he gave it off to Len Andrews. Let's see what he does here. Gives it to Andrews once again, but nothing doing. He is brought down after a gain of about 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 20, and an obvious punting situation for the Edmonton Wildcats.
They might want to pass on 3rd down there, obviously, if they have to get that far. But you can see that the Edmonton Wildcats really do not have a lot of confidence in that passing game. They've gone with that one pass that Chris Hardy completed earlier on. The second one he threw was picked off. So they're a little tentative in that passing department, electing to keep the ball on the ground. That's what you wanted. The Regina Ram defense obviously wants to see if they can keep that under control.
Hardy standing at about his own 15, gets away a high punt, not very deep though, and it goes out of bounds at about midfield. Actually make it the Ram 53-yard line, no return on the play.
Well, we'll want to see if the Regina Rams, how their offense bounces back after that little bit of discouragement or frustration that they had on that last drive. Getting down to the Edmonton Wildcat 29-yard line, Matt Keller trying that field goal, and unfortunately for the Regina Rams, getting it blocked. See if the offense can come out here this time and get firing on all cylinders and put a major on the board here. They've got about half the field to go. 7 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in this first quarter, and again, the Regina Rams enjoying that wind advantage.
Brent Seward and Ben Seward, actually, and Brent Miller are the ends. We have an offside on the Rams' 1st and 10 play. Leeson lets the ball go for brother Michael, but it is over his head. But no doubt about it, the Wildcats jumped offside on that play.
Well, they jumped offside, but they were drawn that time by the offensive line of the Regina Rams. Looked like offensive guard Doug Clark just jumped up a little bit ahead of the snap that time. We're going to get a procedure call on the Regina Rams. Wait and see what the Edmonton Wildcats, if they're going to accept this penalty and push the Regina Rams back to 1st and 15, or whether they'll leave it where it is and let them go 2nd and 10 from the Regina Ram 53-yard line.
It looks like they will, in fact, accept the penalty. Actually, they're now talking about it. While they're doing that, we'll set up the Wildcats defense for you. Brent Miller and Ben Seward are the ends. Quinn Pryor and Eric Kirshner are the tackles. The linebacking crew, and it's a pretty good one. Mark Pretzlaff, Kenton Martz, and Chad Vaff. The defensive secondary, Jeff Hollingshead and France Clarkson, are the corners. Shane Sauer, Terry Staroba are the halfbacks, and Michael Plant is the safety. It is 2nd and 10 for the Regina Rams. Gleason looking to the sidelines for Sean Harvey. In and out of his hands. That's a pass that should have been caught.
Well, it should have been caught, but he looked up and he saw number 19, Jeff Hollingshead, coming over very hard. Took his eye off the ball for a bit. It was fluttering a little as it was coming down, and I'm sure he was a little worried about taking a big hit just when the ball got there. That little lapse of concentration caused him to drop the football. Matt Kellett back on the field again, and he'll be punting to the Edmonton Wildcats.
So far, it's been all defense, folks. No score between the Wildcats and the Regina Rams in this PFC semifinal. We've got 6 minutes and 59 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. We do have a Wildcat down on the field right now. As a matter of fact, it is Hollingshead who took that hit on Sean Harvey there.
We shouldn't be surprised, actually, that the defenses are dominating here this afternoon. When you look back at the Edmonton Wildcats' last game against the Calgary Colts, a 5-0 game. Obviously, their defense was playing very well in that game, and I think everyone in Regina is certainly aware of the fact that the Regina Rams have a very tough defense this year, and certainly that's what you need. In order to win championships, you've got to have a tremendous defense. You've got to be able to hold that offense in check for the other team and be able to score enough points to get out of there with the victory. Certainly with Darrell Leeson at the controls, the Regina Rams are capable of putting up a lot of points on the board, but they are going against a very tough Wildcat defense here this afternoon.
Matt Kellett standing at about his own 41-yard line to receive this punt. And standing back at their 10-yard line, Matt Cunningham and Len Andrews ready to receive Matt Kellett's punt. Kellett looking to angle it towards the sidelines, does a good job as it bounces out of bounds at about the 20-yard line, and he'll take over 1st and 10 from there.
Well, that was a very good punt by Matt Kellett. Again, with the win, gets a 35-yarder off, but absolutely no return for the Edmonton Wildcats. That's going to get them pinned down around their 22-yard line. So Wildcats had some success in that first opening series, ran into some trouble a second time. Certainly the Regina Ram defense seems to be hitting its stride here a bit right now, and if they can keep the Wildcats down here and in check, they should get the ball back in excellent field position.
Chris Hardy is the quarterback. Looking over that Rams defense, gives to Andrews. He goes off tackle. Big hole for him. He's got the first down and then some as he brings it across the 40 to about the Wildcats' 47-yard line.
Well, that is something the Regina Ram defense does not want to give up to the Edmonton Wildcats. And again, that is establishing that off-tackle play with Len Andrews. That was the thing that really allowed Chris Hardy, the quarterback, the last time they played, to have a lot more room. He starts to run that bootleg off of that particular play. And if they've had success with it inside, they've got to honor that. Very difficult for the linebackers to flow and try to catch up with the quarterback.
6 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. No score as of yet on first down. It is picked off by Danny Pascu. He's to midfield. Still going to the 50, the 45, the 40. He is into Wildcats territory down to the 30-yard line. The second interception of the ball game for the Regina Rams. The first for Danny Pascu, the safety.
Well, again, the Regina Ram defense wanting Chris Hardy to put that ball in the air. Again, a tremendous running quarterback. Not that accomplished in the passing department, however. He throws up his second interception. We do have flags on the field, though, back at about midfield. Could have been an illegal block maybe after that interception by Dan Pascu, but the Regina Ram offense is definitely going to be back on the field. However, they're not going to have the ball down at the 31-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats. It's going to get moved back to the 48-yard line of the Regina Rams. But they are back on offense here with 5 minutes and 52 seconds to play here in the first quarter.
Mike Bauer, the tailback for the Regina Rams. He is their top rusher coming into this game. 44 rushes for 331 yards and 3 TDs. He took over about midway through the season after an injury to starting running back Mark Bernard. We have flags down on the play, and the give is to Mauer. He'll have a gain of about 7 yards. We'll see what the flags are all about, whether it was procedure or offside this time.
Well, I think we're going to get an offside call this time against the Edmonton Wildcats. Looks like they just jumped early. Everybody on the Regina Ram offensive line was certainly in a still position prior to that snap. So that'll be a 5-yard penalty. Move the ball up for the Regina Rams and put it first and 5 for them. I'm sure they'll accept this one. rather than going second and about 4. As you mentioned, Mike Maurer picked up about 6 or 7 yards on the play, but they'll accept that penalty, charge against the Edmonton Wildcats, and take over on their own 53-yard line now. 1st and 5 for the Regina Rams.
Well, I don't think there's any question. Maurer has done an exceptional job in filling in for a great running back like Mark Bernard. He has been outstanding. 7.5-yard average. Again, the Wildcats jump offside, and again, the give is to Maurer. He'll be pretty close to a first down, another first down for the Regina Rams, and we'll have to see what these flags are all about.
Well, the Edmonton Wildcats trying to come with a blitz that time just to see if they can plug every hole, recognizing the Regina Rams were likely going to be keeping the ball on the ground that time, but not timing it exactly right. They jump into that neutral zone, so that's going to be another offside penalty against the Edmonton Wildcats. They're just looking to see now, actually, if whether or not Maurer had picked up the necessary yardage for the play, but they're going to get a first down out of it in any event.
First down.
So the Regina Rams will have the ball down at the 52-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats now. They'll go from there, 1st and 10.
First and 10, the ball is
Jason Beulah and Josh Shaw are the wideouts.
52.
Jason Beulah, one of those guys who wanted to play on a championship team, and he is actually an Edmonton native and moved here to join the Rams for this season. He is having a fine 1994 for the Rams. It is the counter play to Chad Eamon. Not much doing this time. Give him a gain of about 1 yard.
Well, not much doing at all. Again, as the Edmonton Wildcat defensive line just stood up the right side of the Regina Ram offensive line. Absolutely didn't let them off the ball at all. And you need to get some movement from that offensive line to create that little seam on that counter play. Chad Eamon coming back to the right side of that Regina Ram offensive line, but no running room for him. They'll give him about a half-yard pickup on the play. Regina Rams, for all intents and purposes, looking at 2nd and 10.
Eamon and Michael Leeson are the slot backs. We've got Beulah and Shaw at the wideouts. Leeson wants to pass. This one is almost picked off by the Edmonton Wildcats. That was number 26 for the Wildcats, Franz Clarkson, almost coming up with that interception.
Well, again, just dropping back in their zone defense, the Edmonton Wildcats, and the ball a little overthrown. Darrell Leeson looking downfield on the far side there for his brother Michael Leeson, just trying to hook up in that zone, but he's about 6'4", but he would have had to been about 8'4" to catch that particular pass as it sailed over his head, and the Wildcats almost came up with their first interception. However, it popped out of the Wildcat defender's hands. Matt Kellett is on the field to punt once again.
Got a glimpse of Leeson before the game, Darrell Leeson that is, and he looked a little tight. Paul, maybe you won't find a more competitive guy than Darrell Leeson, but maybe just a little bit too tight to start this game, but I'm sure he'll come around eventually. Len Andrews on the punt return, and a great job by Derek Fink to get down there and make that open field special teams tackle. Wow, what a tackle that was.
Well, just a great tackle by Derek Fink that time, just sprinting down. He's got contained on that far side of the field. He gets down to the level of the ball and then starts to break across the field. Just gets a hold of one of Len Andrews' ankles, trips it up. We're going to get an illegal block on the Edmonton Wildcats on top of that. So this is what the Regina Rams defense wanted to have here in this first quarter with the wind at their back. The Edmonton Wildcats backed up close to their own goal line now at their own 6-yard line. They do not want to let Len Andrews and Chris Hardy run around and see if they can get out from where they are in this particular position. They want to hold them down here and force them to punt the ball back. They should get it around midfield if they're able to hold the Wildcats down here.
1st and 10 from their own 5-yard line. Hardy is the quarterback. Len Andrews, the lone setback in the backfield. The give is to him, but he slips and falls right at the line of scrimmage. Chad Zipchen made sure and fell on top of him.
Well, there wasn't much running room for Len Andrews, just running up to that line of scrimmage, tried to cut back against the flow a little bit, but nothing doing. His feet slipped out from underneath him, and Chad Zipchen dropped on top of him. That's going to be about a 1-yard loss in the play now, so the Wildcats backed up to their 5-yard line. They'll look at 2nd and 11 here, and we know what trouble the Edmonton Wildcats have had when Chris Hardy has been forced to pass the ball.
Wavell Star, Randy Stroczynski, and Lloyd McDonald, the outstanding linebacking crew for the Regina Rams. On 2nd down, they fake the give to Andrews. Hardy wants to run, but nothing doing. Steve Aaron brings him down after a gain of about 2 yards. A nice play by Stevie.
Well, Chris Hardy definitely did not want to put that ball into the air against this wind here and this tough Regina Ram defense. Mike Milo with a great job of keeping Chris Hardy inside and forcing him to turn upfield. Steve Aaron was there flowing along from his defensive line position, comes up with the big tackle. Little extra hit put on by Randy Sorchinski, and we see Chris Hardy here now actually limping back to take up his spot as he's going to be punting the ball, looking to the bench right now and asking the coach whether he wants to give up a safety or not.
He is standing in his own end zone. No, he'll punt this one away. It is the good one. Out to midfield. Fielded there by Jason Beulah. Not much running room, and he will be brought down at about the Wildcats' 53-yard line. We'll take a quick break. Folks, no score as of yet in this PFC semifinal. The Rams and the Wildcats, 2 minutes, 32 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. You are listening to Rams football.
Paul, number 52 for the Edmonton Wildcats. 1st and 10, Regina Rams. The ball is at the Wildcat 51-yard line. Now it's moved back to the 53. Ball carrier Daryl Leeson.
On 1st and 10 from the Wildcats 53, Daryl Leeson tries the draw and kind of got tripped up on one of his own men and fell down after a gain of, well, actually nothing. He fell down right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm not sure that whether he got tripped up or whether he slipped, but we've seen a lot of players slipping out here this afternoon. Len Andrews has fallen a couple times. Chris Hardy has slipped, and now we see Daryl Leeson dropping down, so that'll put the Rams in 2nd and 10 from the Wildcat 54-yard line.
On 2nd down, Leeson wants to pass, attempted for Dan Goodmanson. It was low, maybe a catchable ball, though. In any case, it will be 3rd and 10 for the Regina Rams from midfield.
Well, you mentioned the fact that Daryl Leeson looked a little tight before the game, and I would venture to say that he probably is right now. Actually had Dan Goodmanson wide open on that play, just curling into that, again, Wildcat zone defense. He didn't have anybody within 10 yards of him. Ball was delivered a little bit low by Daryl Leeson that time. He's had one high to his brother, another one low to Dan Goodmanson. Maybe the next time he's on the field, everything will be clicking. He'll be getting them just right on the numbers.
More competitive man you will not find in Daryl Leeson, but maybe just a little bit too tight before the start of this game. And I'll tell you what, he's usually joking around, kidding around before a game, all smiles, but today he did look a little bit tight.
Well, you're playing in a playoff game where it's sudden death, and all of your regular season victories and points and statistics and everything don't mean a thing here this afternoon. It's two teams going against each other. The winner is going to advance. The loser is going to go home and pack their equipment. That'll make a lot of people get a few extra little butterflies in their stomach, and obviously the Regina Rams should be favored to win this ball game, but sometimes that puts on a little more pressure as well.
Kellett punting from his own 40, again trying to put it out of bounds. He boots one that goes out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. What a punt by Matt Kellett. You just couldn't ask for much more than that.
What a punt is right, 50 yards, and landed it right on the sidelines at about the 7.5-yard line is going to be the final spot. Just an outstanding job by Matt Kellett. You get off a 50-yard punt and absolutely no return. I'll tell you what, you can kick in just about any football league in the world when you can do that.
Well, Matt Kellett has certainly been getting some offers from down in American colleges. Miami has come calling. The famous Notre Dame has come calling, and rightfully so. He has got quite a leg on him.
Well, quite a leg and a good attitude for a kicker. We're certainly looking for big things from Matt Kellett as he progresses on in his football career.
Down to the final minute of this opening quarter. The give is to Len Andrews on 1st and 10. He might have a gain of about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Wildcats from their own 10-yard line.
Well, with the exception of that one play when they let Len Andrews get away in that off tackle, the Regina Ram defense has done a very good job here this afternoon. 7 carries for 28 yards only for Len Andrews. So they're doing a good job here this afternoon of taking away that off tackle and anything inside. And when they do that, it puts a lot more pressure on the quarterback, Chris Hardy.
I notice Bernie Schmidt, offensive coordinator for the Rams, and Jerry Orban down there having a meeting with their entire offense right now, trying to bring things together for the Regina Rams. Down to 20 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. No score yet between the Rams and the Wildcats. Andrews on 2nd and about 8 yards, picks up about 2 or 3. But again, it will be 3rd and long for the Wildcats. They will be forced to punt once again.
Well, they obviously do not want to take a chance down deep in their own end. They're not going to beat themselves. Chris Hardy's already thrown 2 interceptions here this afternoon. In an obvious passing situation, they elect to keep the ball on the ground and see if Chris Hardy can punt his way out of trouble again. just mentioned that the last time that the Regina Rams played, after 8 carries, Len Andrews had 63 yards on the day. This afternoon here, 8 carries for 32, so they've cut his production in half from the last time that they played.
Hardy punting from his own end zone. One man back for the Regina Rams. That is Jason Beulah standing at midfield. Nice high punt by Hardy that lands at about the Hillcroft. Excuse me. Oh my goodness! Who's got the football? Beulah had it. Let it go. He was hit. Could not come up with the football. And I'll tell you what, the last play of the first quarter, and it goes the Wildcats' way. They will take over in Rams territory at about the 48-yard line. We have got to take a break. No score after 1 quarter of play between the Wildcats and the Regina Rams in this PFC semifinal. You are listening to Rams Football. And we have missed a couple of plays, but it's suffice to say, Paul, that the Edmonton Wildcats didn't do a whole lot thanks to the Rams defense.
Well, exactly, and it all started on first down again. They tried to run Len Andrews, and he was dropped at the line of scrimmage. That put Chris Hardy into a passing situation, and now with the wind at his back, Chris Hardy elected to go to the pass, but unable to complete it. So now with the wind at his back, he's gotten off some tremendous punts here in the first quarter against the wind. We'll see how he does with the wind at his back here.
Jason Beulah fumbled the last punt by Chris Hardy, but heading into this game, he was the #1 punt returner in the PFC. And this one will be fielded by Chris Frankowski at his own 5-yard line. Tries to make a couple of moves, has nowhere to go as he is brought down just about where he caught the football.
Well, again, a bad snap that time. Chris Hardy just able to pick it up off the turf and managed to get away a kick. Not one of his better ones. It was 44 yards. As it turned out, but certainly didn't look like the ones that he had kicked into the wind. Regina Rams are going to be penalized on that play too for an illegal block, I believe, and so that's going to put the ball back at their 2-yard line. And now with 13:40 remaining to be played here in the first half, they are going to be going into what appears to be a rather stiff breeze as we look at the flag down on the score clock. So very important that their offense starts to move the ball here.
Very important as well, Paul, that they don't try and panic. They don't try and force things, as Darrell Leeson has done maybe a couple of times here this afternoon. They got to take what was given to them. Mauer on the handoff. We'll have a gain of about 5 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Regina Rams from their own 8-yard line.
Well, actually, that was a very good run by Mike Mauer that time. It didn't look like there was any running room at all up front, but he did find a little seam, put his head down, and just blasted through there. Managed to pick up about 5 yards on the carry and give his mates a little breathing room here as he gets the ball out to the 7-yard line now. So the Regina Rams will be looking at 2nd and 5 from their own 7-yard line.
Mauer and Jamie Bailey are in the backfield. Shaw and Goodmanson are the wideouts. They give this to Mauer again. Some tough sledding there, not much running room. He'll be stopped short of the first down by about 3 yards. Will force the Rams into a 3rd and about 3 situation, which means they will be punting, and Matt Kellett will likely punt from his own end zone.
Well, again, a very conservative call from the Regina Rams, looking at 2nd and 5 now from the 7-yard line. They only pick up 2, move it out to the 9. So that wind blowing here, it brings Matt Kellett out. Certainly a very good punter, but he's going to be punting into the wind. We'll see if he has as much success as Chris Hardy did kicking into that wind in the first quarter.
Matt Kellett has got away some good ones so far, but he did have the wind in the first quarter. Here he is going against it, and it's a pretty stiff one here today at Taylor Field. Kellett gets away not good one that bounces to the 45-yard line. This is Cunningham on the return. Has some running room. He will go to the 10. Touchdown! The Wildcats are on. Kellett did not get away a good punt. Are there flags down on the field? Yes, there is. We'll see what this one is all about.
Holding against the Edmonton Wildcats, a tremendous break for the Regina Rams that time. Randy Sorchinski was running down the field actually talking to the referee as he was chasing Matt Cunningham, but just a huge penalty call against the Edmonton Wildcats. But Let's remember, they do have the ball on the Regina Ram 23.5-yard line. They're going to go from there now, 1st and 10 with 12 minutes to play here in the second quarter.
Well, both defenses have been giving their offenses some breaks. As of yet, neither offense has been able to take advantage of this. We've got 12 minutes left to go here in quarter number 2. No score between the Rams and the Wildcats in this PFC semifinal. On 1st and 10 from the Rams 21-yard line. Hardy wants to pass, has the man open. It is complete to Cunningham, and he will be very close to another Wildcats first down.
Well, he's going to be out for about an 9.5-yard gain over on that far side of the field. Chris Hardy rolling to his right causes Mike Milo to come in, and in behind him, just leaking the receiver over into the flat, delivers a perfect strike that time. That'll move the ball down to the 12.5. It is going to be enough yardage for the first down as the official signals first down. So the Edmonton Wildcats obviously threatening here now in this second quarter to put some points on the board and jump out ahead of the defending national champions, the Regina Rams.
Matt Cunningham on the receiving end of that last Hardy pass. He is their leading receiver coming into this game. 24 catches for 291 yards. He has yet to score a touchdown this season, though. Hardy in some trouble. Here comes the rush. 4 Rams coming at him. Throws it away. It is incomplete. Basically that time, Paul, I think he was just trying to get rid of the football, and that was a smart thing to do with 4 Rams breathing fire on him, ready to rip his head off and bring him down in the backfield.
Well, exactly. This is one of the areas of the field where the Regina Rams will send some of their linebackers trying to create a little more pressure on Chris Hardy, and obviously with him in a passing situation, trying to get the ball downfield right away to see if he can get that ball in the end zone. He didn't have anywhere to go with it, just elected to toss it out of bounds and come back and try again. 2nd and 10 from the Ram 12-yard line.
Hardy is the quarterback. A little early movement at the line there. Lane Andrews waltzes into the end zone. Actually, you know what, folks? He let that ball go before he got into the end zone, getting a little too cocky there, I would assume, but there are flags down on the play, and I do think it's going to be procedure against the Wildcats.
Well, the Regina Rams were showing blitz again to the Edmonton Wildcats, moving a lot of people up on that line of scrimmage, and that just caused the offensive linemen of the Wildcats to jump a little bit. They got called for the procedure call, so again, 2 times they've had the ball in the end zone here, but unfortunately for the Edmonton Wildcats, neither one of them has counted.
Actually, I think I saw the referee signify holding on the play, but in any case, it is an infraction against the Edmonton Wildcats, and they will have it 2nd and about 15 yards to go from the Rams' 17-yard line. 10 minutes, 48 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. Hardy rolling to his right, looking to the end zone, and throws it at the feet of Matt Cunningham. Incomplete. It will be 3rd and 15, and Mr. Hardy, I do believe, will attempt a field goal from this range.
Well, the Regina Ram defense is certainly very thankful right now, having given up that punt return for a touchdown, and then Len Andrews on that little off tackle to the left, he got into the end zone. That was called back as well on a penalty, so the Edmonton Wildcats are going to have to try for 3 here. I'm sure they're feeling very good about the fact that they haven't given up a touchdown against this Wildcat offensive team.
Chris Hardy is also the Wildcats' field goal kicker. He does it all. This one will come from the 25-yard line. He was good on 4 of 10 during the regular season. Flags are down. This field goal is good. The Wildcats are on the board. Let's see what the flags are about.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the call, and I'm sure it won't be a 15-yard penalty if there's anything against the Regina Rams. Oh, we've got a procedure call against the Edmonton Wildcats that time, so penalties becoming a very crucial factor here for the Wildcats. That's going to push them back another 5 yards. Force them to do it all over again, so the Wildcats, while they threatened to put points on the board, have had a hard time of doing that.
Jim Pankovich, the head coach of the Wildcats, not too happy for what he's seen so far here this afternoon. His team taking points off the board.
Well, exactly.
A couple of times.
8 penalties for 70 yards against the Edmonton Wildcats right now, so a complete reversal from what we saw the previous week. The Regina Rams here 4 for 35, so they've taken twice as many as the Rams here this afternoon.
This field goal attempt by Hardy from the 30. It is up, and it is wide. It goes wide and through the back of the end zone. They do get a single point, but not nearly what they could have had. Once they took a touchdown off the board. Twice they took a touchdown off the board. They took a field goal off the board and then ended up with a single. Some breaks here for the Regina Rams. In any case, it is the Wildcats 1, the Rams no score with 10 minutes, 5 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. You are listening to Rams football.
Edmonton,
We are back
55,
at Taylor Field
offside.
in Regina.
First down,
Ron
Peter.
Rimmer, Paul Barnaby, and Ed Bankowski. 9 minutes, 53 seconds left to go in this PFC semifinal. Second quarter, that is. 1-0. The Wildcats lead the Rams. It's been all defense so far, folks. Leeson on first down from his own 40. Looking to the sidelines for Beulah. It is complete. And he will have a gain. Well, he'll be
Of about 6.
Yeah, he'll be close. He should have the first down, as a matter of fact.
Yep, they were penalized for offside on that first down call, so that put the Rams in 1st and 5 situation, and Beulah goes down and makes sure that he's far enough by that first down marker, gets about 6 yards on the completion from Darrell Leeson. That'll put the ball down at the Regina Ram 46-yard line. They'll go from there now, 1st and 10.
Leeson trying to bring things together for his Rams offense. It has not been a good start for Darrell, but we have seen him do this before and then come out smelling like a rose when it all is said and done. Over the middle for brother Michael. That will be another first down inside of Wildcats territory at the 50-yard line.
Well, a very good catch by Mike Leeson that time, just getting right over the center. Darrell Leeson with a perfect throw. It could have been pass interference easily called on the Edmonton Wildcats there, as their defender was actually had a hold of Mike Leeson before the ball got there. He came up with the catch anyway, so it was academic. Moves the ball down to the Edmonton Wildcat 51-yard line. The Rams have their best offensive drive going here with 9 minutes left in this second quarter.
And they seem to have their old friend momentum on their side. Leeson again wants to pass. Michael was down and out, but looked like he almost came up with that catch. Again, the turf being a bit of a problem here this afternoon. Michael fell before the ball got there.
Well, he slipped just as he turned around to look for that ball, and it hit him sort of in the side and bounced up in the air. Almost looked like he was going to be able to pick it up off the, before it actually went down to the turf again. It would have been a spectacular circus catch, but not to be. So the Regina Rams now 2nd and 10 from the Wildcat 51-yard line.
Jamie Bailey and Jason Beulah come out. Mike Maurer comes into the ball game. Leeson across the middle for Maurer. He'll have a gain of about 5 yards, but it should be 3rd and 5 for the Regina Rams now.
Well, 3rd and 5 for the Regina Rams because Chad Bath, that outside linebacker of the Edmonton Wildcats, some good coverage on Mike Maurer that time, just got over and got him down after he picked up about 7 yards, so that's going to leave them about 3 yards short of that first down marker. The ball sitting on the 44-yard line. An interesting call for the Regina Rams, obviously enjoying a little better field position here. See if they elect to maybe just try to pin the Wildcats deep. Their defense has done a good job of shutting down the Wildcats, with the exception of that opening drive that they had. See if they can hold them down here while they are going against the wind.
They're also in range to try a fake, Paul.
You're right.
But not this time. Matt Kellett gets away a low line drive kick that bounces at the 10-yard line and is taken out of bounds there by Matt Cunningham. And the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line.
Well, Matt Cunningham not wanting to take any chances, obviously, down there, just picked up the ball and stepped out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Seen the Ram defense the last time they were on the field actually really come up with an outstanding effort against the Wildcats. They started down around the Regina Ram 20-yard line and only came up with a single point. Now they've got them pinned back on the Wildcat 11-yard line. Obviously, they want to come up with a big defensive effort here at this particular point in the ball game.
8 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in quarter number 2 of this PFC semifinal. The Rams and the Wildcats. The Wildcats lead it 1-0. Defense, definitely the story so far. On 1st and 10, the give is to Andrews, and an exceptional defensive play there as Jeff Haggerty comes up and gets him at the feet and brings him down after a gain of maybe 1 or 2 yards.
Well, a great job by Jeff Haggerty that time, coming from his defensive half position, recognizing that sweep was going to be going outside. He stepped up very smartly, cut down the running back, Len Andrews of the Edmonton Wildcats, gets him down after a 2-yard pickup. So again, the Regina Ram defense with limiting the production on first down has really forced Chris Hardy into things that he does not want to do on second down.
Hardy looking over the defense, wants to run with the football. Giving chase is Dennis Losey, and coming up again to make the nice tackle is Jeff Haggerty. Did he stop you short of the first down? It's going to be awfully close.
Yeah, they've got to get to about the 21-yard line, 21 and a half maybe, and they've got him down inside the 20-yard line. Looks like they're going to give him about the 19-yard line, so they're going to be a couple yards short on this particular play, and this will bring up a very interesting call for Jim Pankovic. He's been very conservative in his play calling thus far in the game, and I think with the wind at his back, he's going to let Chris Hardy just see if he can get back some of that field position that they lost on that last series of downs.
Chris Hardy rarely leaves the field. He does the punting, the place kicking. He is their quarterback. He runs all over the field. And right now, he's standing about his own 4-yard line, ready to punt the football away to Chris Frankowski and Jason Beulah, standing back at about the Rams' 40-yard line. Not a bad kick by Hardy that the Rams let bounce, and Frankowski gets chased back to his own 25-yard line and is brought down at about the 30, where the Rams will scrimmage 1st and 10. The Rams trail the Wildcats 1-0 with 6 minutes 51 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. You are listening to Rams football.
1st and 10 for the Rams. The ball is back on the 30-yard line. First down for the Regina Rams. The ball is at the 46-yard line. Pass is complete to number 30, Mike Maurer. Make the stop for the Wildcats, Chad Bass.
Picked up one first down, Paul, and then on their second first down attempt, they dumped off a little pass to Mike Maurer. They are now in a 2nd and 3 situation from their own 53-yard line. Leeson gives it to Bailey up the middle. He crashes hard. We've got flags down on the field. Bailey got pretty close to that first down marker, but let's see what these flags are all about.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what that flag was. It looks like a face masking call being the preliminary signal given by the official there against the Edmonton Wildcats. Must have grabbed a hold of big Jamie Bailey's face mask as he crashed in there, so that'll be a big penalty against the Edmonton Wildcats. Move the ball down to the Wildcat 40-yard line, so we've seen a little better offensive production from the Regina Rams here as this game has started to wear on a bit, racking up a few first downs now. They're certainly getting into scoring position and obviously trailing this ball game 1-0. Would like to get something on the board here before the end of this half.
5 minutes and 30 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. 1-0 is the score for the Wildcats. Leeson has some time, looking over the middle, and a nice defensive play there by the safety for the Edmonton Wildcats. That is Michael Plant to knock the ball away from Sean Harvey, the intended receiver.
Well, we'll get a look at this one here. Certainly looked like the Edmonton Wildcat defender was closing on the receiver a lot quicker than before the ball got there. And no flag on the play, however, so the Regina Rams sitting at that Wildcat 40-yard line. Had some pretty good heat on Darrell Leeson that time, forced him to step a little bit sideways in that pocket. And maybe if he would have just put that ball out a little further, Sean Harvey might have been able to come up with the big catch.
2nd and 10. Leeson wants to run it himself this time. Has some the football. Who's got it? I do believe the Rams got it back. We've got each side signaling that they have it. Let's see when they uncover this pile. And the Wildcats are celebrating, which means they will have the football. Another turnover, Paul.
Well, another big turnover for the Regina Rams. It certainly looked like Darrell Leeson was going to be either able to pick up that first down or was going to be close enough to it that the Regina Rams might have gambled, but a ball is popped out of his grasp, and the Edmonton Wildcats, being the opportunist, drop on it at their own 32-yard line and thwart another offensive drive by the Regina Rams.
Well, we saw it in the first half of the last game in Saskatoon last weekend where the Rams did not record a point. We don't see that very often, so they're going to have to head to the dressing room here at halftime and try and regroup. We saw them do it last week. I'm sure they can do it again today. Hardy in some trouble now on 1st and 10. Gets away the pass, actually goes down on one knee. They said he was down and will get charged with a loss, a big loss. The referee did blow his whistle in any case.
Well, he blew his whistle and he stopped the play, and it certainly looked like Chris Hardy's knee had touched down just as he slipped. We're going to wait and see what the official does rule on this particular play, but we'll have to wait and see if he's going to. I'm not sure exactly what the call is here, but we'll get a signal from the official. No, I guess we won't.
Well,
just waved to his mother in the stands, I think, and then went back and blew the play in. Maybe everybody wasn't set properly before that play started. In any event, the first down marker says first down. We're going to do it all over again. The Edmonton Wildcats at their own 32-yard line, 1st and 10.
That's one of the strangest things I've ever seen in my life. 4 minutes, 27 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. They give this to Andrews, has some running room, but it's shut down in a hurry after a gain of about 5 yards. Randy Sroczynski in there, as well as Wavo Starr.
Well, again, a good job by that linebacking core of the Regina Rams. Just a little delayed draw that time. Chris Hardy running back as if he's going to drop back into the pocket and throw. Hands off to Len Andrews, has a full head of steam as he comes across that line of scrimmage, but the linebackers for the Regina Rams close very quickly and get him down after about a 3-yard pickup. So they'll be looking at 2nd and 7 from their own 35-yard line.
3 minutes, 50 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. On 2nd and 6, Hardy wants to pass, drills it in there for Sean Morin, but it was over his head, and it will be a 3rd and 6 for the Edmonton Wildcats.
Well, you certainly get the impression here that if the Regina Rams could get some points on the board, that the Edmonton Wildcats would really be in trouble. Their offense has been just absolutely anemic here this afternoon, with the exception of that first drive that they had. The one thing that you've got to be aware of with Chris Hardy back there, obviously, is that he can break it at any particular point in the ball game and score on you. But in terms of long, sustained drives, I don't think we're going to see that from the Edmonton Wildcats here this afternoon.
Yeah, he might be hurting a little bit too, Paul, because we really haven't seen him tuck it in and try and run the football, but he gets away a darn good punt here. Again, the Rams let the ball bounce, and they're kind of fighting over it there. Frankowski takes over, still running with the football, and he will get up to about the 25-yard line of the Regina Rams, where they will scrimmage 1st and 10.
Well, we've seen a few mix-ups there on the punt returns for the Regina Rams, and obviously one of those guys down there has to be calling that ball to call the other guy off so the other one can set up the block for him. But Frankowski and Beulah, they've had their problems out here this afternoon. Beulah dropped a very long punt from Chris Hardy in that first quarter against the wind that gave the Wildcats a lot of field position out there. But in any event, the Regina Rams have the ball now back at their own 26-yard line, 1st and 10 from there.
Let's see what Leeson can do here with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the second quarter. He wants to run the football again. Gets hit hard after a gain of about 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Regina Rams.
Well, again, just a design play. Darrell Leeson taking that one step back and then trying to burst through the line of scrimmage. He took a big hit from one of the linebackers of the Edmonton Wildcats, however, snapped his head right back. But he's got 5 yards on the pickup, so again, some pretty good production on first down. Regina Rams move the ball out to the 31-yard line. Got to get out to the 41 for that first down, so a big 2nd down play coming up here for the Regina Rams.
Also in the PFC this afternoon, Paul, the Calgary Colts in Saskatoon to take on the Hilltops. What do you think is going to happen there?
I think that's going to be a whale of a football game as well. The Calgary Colts, obviously a very talented team, and the Hilltops, obviously with a few problems on offense, having lost a couple of their quarterbacks.
On 2nd down, the give is to Mike Maurer, and he gets a gain of about 4 yards, but will be stopped short of the first down by about a yard. But we do have flags down once again.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Here's the call, holding against the Regina Rams this time, so that's going to push the Regina Rams back 10 yards and force them to do it over again. So they've had a couple of good offensive drives here right now, but the Edmonton Wildcats playing some tough defense, not allowing any points. The Rams have only picked up 6 first downs here in this first half, and as you mentioned, Ron, that's something that we're not accustomed to seeing here from that very potent Regina Ram offense. That's 2 games in a row now where late into the second quarter here, they have not even really come close to threatening to put anything on the board.
On 2nd and 15, Leeson wants to pass, but he is hit. The ball comes loose. They say he was down, luckily. And a big play there by the Wildcats defense, who got through on Darrell Leeson in a big hurry and will force them to punt once again.
Well, recognizing they're in that 2nd and 15, the Edmonton Wildcats coming with that blitz. Ben Seward from that defensive line position just crashing through there. Big play by the Edmonton Wildcats is going to force Matt Kellett to punt the ball. And again, he had a very weak kick one time against this wind here. 2:42 left to go here in the second quarter. The Edmonton Wildcats should get this ball right around midfield.
Matt Kellett standing at his own 5, ready to punt. This time he gets away a pretty good one into the wind that chases Matt Cunningham back into his own territory at about the 45. Gets away from one would-be tackler and brings it across the 50, where the Wildcats will scrimmage 1st and 10. We'll take another break. 1-0. The Wildcats lead the Rams with 2.5 minutes left to go here in quarter number 2. You're listening to Rams football. Wildcats gave to Len Andrews, who picked up a gain of 5 yards. But we also have a flag down on the play after the fact, and it looked like it might be a rough call penalty. A rough play penalty. We'll have to wait and see here.
Regina, 42, necessary roughness.
Still waiting for the referee's signal.
Yep, rough play against the Regina Rams, so that's a big penalty again. Time a factor here for the Edmonton Wildcats. 2 minutes and 26 seconds left to play in the second quarter, and with that 1-0 lead, given the fact that they've had a couple of mistakes, the Edmonton Wildcats are playing some pretty tough football against the defending champion Regina Rams, and obviously they're going to have to get their act in gear if they want to progress along the trail to another national championship.
On 1st and 10 from the Rams 40. Hardy fakes to give to Andrews. Rolls to his right, looks across the middle, but it is incomplete. Another catchable pass that was in and out of the hands of slot back Colin Andrews.
Well, you almost have to feel for the Edmonton Wildcats a little bit. Chris Hardy's doing enough to sort of keep the Regina Ram defense off balance a little bit with his rolling out and whatnot. They've done a good job of keeping him in the pocket, but when he does throw a good pass, either his receiver drops it. More often than not, he's going to have to make those receivers come up with circus catches down around their knees, but their passing game is certainly not very effective here this afternoon.
2 minutes, 21 seconds left to go here in the first half. Hardy rolling out to his left. There's a flag down, and so is Hardy, short of the first down as Michael Milo brought him down about 2 yards away from that first down marker. We do have a flag down in the backfield, and that usually indicates holding.
Well, exactly, and it was on Randy Sorchinski just coming through from his middle linebacking position. One of the offensive linemen had no other choice but to reach out and grab him. Official Hal Wilkie was on the spot, made the call, and that's going to push them back a little bit. And the way their offense has been operating here this afternoon, going to be very tough for them to convert. Might look for the Regina Rams to come with a big blitz here and see if they can make something happen on the defensive side of the football.
They will be 2nd and 20. The Wildcats will be at the Rams' 50-yard line. And they have a long way to go for the first down. They do have 2 minutes and 15 seconds with which to put some points up on the board here as time is running out in the first half. Hardy drops straight back to pass. Here comes the rush. It is complete to Cunningham, but he is brought down almost immediately by Todd Fuchs, well short of the first down. As a matter of fact, he might be short of the original line of scrimmage.
I think he's going to be. Actually, the Regina Rams just falling off into their zone defense, and they're going to let them catch that short one underneath there. Todd Fuchs with some great speed over at that cornerback spot, keeps everything in front of him, comes up, makes the big hit, That's going to force Chris Hardy to punt the ball, so really squandering another good scoring opportunity for the Edmonton Wildcats with 2 minutes left here in the second quarter. They come away with nothing.
Todd Fuchs, the 6'1", 200-pound defensive back out of Esterhazy. Jason Beulah fields this punt in his end zone, and he is brought down in the end zone or out. What do they say here?
At the 1 yard line, I think they're going to say that he got out to, and that should bring the ball back out to the 20-yard line for the Regina Rams, as you're able to run that ball out of your end zone as long as you do get out. And he was very close to that goal line, actually, and another big kick by Chris Hardy of the Edmonton Wildcats. But the Regina Rams now with 1 minute and 58 seconds remaining to be played here. Again, no points on the board for that Regina Ram offense, something that we have seen very infrequently here this year.
Well, as a matter of fact, I saw it for the first time last week in Saskatoon, and we're seeing it again this afternoon, and it was awfully darn surprising. They try to counterplay, fumbles the football, and luckily Chad Eamon just did get that ball back. Paul, I am really shocked by, shall we say, the ineptitude of the Rams offense in this first half.
Well, that's exactly right. They fumbled the ball here now 1, 2, 3, 4 times this afternoon here in the first half. They've 5 times, actually. We get from Statsman Ed Badkowski. And how many times have they actually lost those fumbles, Ed? 2 times. So they fumbled the ball 5 times and lost it twice. Not a very good showing by that offensive unit of the Regina Rams in a very, very important football game.
Now, do we attribute this to tightness, or do we attribute this to the Wildcats defense playing superbly? Well,
I think you gotta look at both factors, actually. The Edmonton Wildcats do have a very good defense, no question about that, and we saw the Regina Rams against the Saskatoon Hilltops, who have a very good defense as well, and it took them a while to get things figured out. They did in the second half, came out and scored 24 unanswered points against the Saskatoon Hilltops last weekend, but certainly against this Wildcat team, they have struggled here this afternoon, and obviously you're going to have to make some adjustments here to see if they can get things figured out, to try to get a little bit more offensive production.
Darrell Leeson, after a quick chat with offensive coordinator Bernie Schmidt and head coach Frank McChrystal, along with offensive line coach Jerry Orban, trying to get the game plan together where they can move the football. They've got 1 minute and 53 seconds left to go here in the first half to try and put some points up on the board. Leeson drops straight back to pass, looking deep downfield, has the man open. That is Chad Eamon. He catches it inside the Hilltop territory and is finally brought down at the Hilltop 38-yard line. The biggest play of the ball game so far for the Regina Rams.
Well, big isn't even the word for it. Just a huge play by the Regina Rams. Darrell Leeson dropping back, throwing that ball, a 56-yard pass and run completion for the Regina Rams, and that is going into the wind. You see the tremendous arm strength that Darrell Leeson possesses. A great grab by Chad Eamon down at the other end of the play. They've got the ball on the Wildcat 38-yard line.
1st and 10. Leeson again back to pass. Has a man open at Beulah. It'll be another first down to about the 22-yard line.
Well, the offense looking a lot crisper right now. Darrell Leeson dropping back into that pocket. Jason Beulah on the far side of the field from his wideout position just curls into that hook zone in front of the defenders of the Wildcats. A perfect strike by Darrell Leeson right on the numbers. Beulah comes up with a big catch. They've got the ball on the 21.5-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats with 1 minute and 25 seconds to be played here in the second quarter.
Leeson is the quarterback. Orfner and Bailey are in the backfield for some blocking. Leeson again looking for brother Michael. Great concentration by Michael Leeson, and the Rams are on the board.
Well, yes, and very good to see, again, not having scored any points up until this particular point in the ball game. A good throw by Darrell Leeson, actually maybe forcing it a little bit to his brother, but big, tall Michael down at the other end of that play comes up with a spectacular grab, and the Regina Rams score the first touchdown of the ball game here this afternoon.
Exceptional concentration by brother Michael on that play. It looked like the defender, Michael Plant, on the play did his job and got the ball knocked away, but Leeson stayed with it, hung on to the football, and the Rams finally are on the board here this afternoon at Taylor Field. The point after attempt by Matt Kellett is good, and all of a sudden, Paul, it is 7-1 for the Regina Rams.
Well, you have to wonder about the offense of the Regina Rams, looking very lackluster, sort of almost all the way through this half, when their backs are really against the wall, deep in their own end, come up with a couple of spectacular plays, move quickly down the field, and put a major on the board. It's almost like they finally got the wake-up call and realized that they are in a football game here this afternoon, and they're going to have to start playing some tough, hard football against a very stubborn Wildcat defense.
Again, to their credit, Paul, they did not panic. They took their time. They had some problems with fumbles, had some problems with penalties, but stayed with it, and it's paid off so far.
Well, exactly, and maybe one of the things that they have discovered is electing to go with a lot of the shorter passes earlier in this ball game. That time, Darrell Leeson, the big play, the 56-yard completion to Chad Eamon, electing to go downtown against that wind, and it paid off some big dividends for that Ram offense.
Matt Kellett now kicking off from his own 45, tries a little squibber up the middle that the Wildcats do recover at their own 38-yard line. A big lineman coming up with the ball there. That was Ben Seward with defensive end.
Well, just trying to roll the ball on the ground and see if you can get a funny hop off it, and you have that kickoff team just charging downfield to see if they could recover it. That would have been a big play for the Regina Rams if they would have come up with it, but in any event, the Wildcats do hold on. They have the ball on the 39-yard line, 1:10, so they do have time here if they are able to generate some offense.
Let's see what Chris Hardy can do. Len Andrews, the lone setback in the backfield. They fake the handoff to him. Hardy under some pressure. 3 Rams giving chase. Hardy throws it away and out of bounds. Was there a receiver close by? They say yes.
He must have been sitting in the stands then if he was close by, because the ball ended up in the first row here. Taylor Field over on the west side of the field, but Chris Hardy under some tremendous pressure from Mike Milo from the back and Dennis Losey from the front from his defensive end position, and obviously having nowhere to go, he wasn't going to get around that corner. Wisely elected to throw it out of bounds.
There will be 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats. Didn't use too much time on that play, so we've got 1:01 left to go here in the opening half. Seems like this half has been going on forever, Paul.
It's been a long one.
2nd and 10. Andrews, again, the lone man in the backfield. This time takes the handoff, tries to go off tackle. Sorry, nothing doing, fumbles the football. They say he was down, though, and a great job once again by the Rams defensive lineman to keep that slippery young man, Len Andrews, in check.
Well, again, Lloyd McDonald coming over, too, and he's put a big hit on Len Andrews there, just flowing along behind that line of scrimmage. Len Andrews, we saw him down many times in the game that the Regina Rams played here against the Edmonton Wildcats, and he was down 5 times, helped off the field, managed to come back. This time he's down again, so we'll see if maybe that little routine is going to start up again here this afternoon. But he was far more effective in that game at running that off-tackle play, but with Randy Serchinski and Lloyd McDonald back in the middle here, the Regina Rams have done a good job of controlling that particular play this afternoon.
Len Andrews, the PFC's top rusher, 5th in the country coming into this game. 136 carries for 723 yards and 6 touchdowns, a 5.3-yard average per carry. And Paul, what has he done here this afternoon?
Well, he's carried the ball 13 times here this afternoon, which is a lot of carries, but only picked up 44 yards. And again, we go back to the game that they played previously, where after 13 carries he had 97 yards, so he was closing in on a 100-yard mark after those things, and he's had 1 run here this afternoon of 25 yards, so the Regina Ram defense has done a great job of holding him down this afternoon.
And Andrews is still on the field, has not moved as of yet.
Seemed to be sort of a head-on collision that he had with Lloyd McDonald, just seemed to be breaking through the line of scrimmage there. There's a lot of flow from those D linemen, and then Lloyd McDonald just met him head on, and Andrews went down face first, and he hasn't really moved. If they lose Len Andrews at this particular point of the ball game, that is going to put a lot of heat on quarterback Chris Hardy, as he really is their only other offensive threat that they have here this afternoon.
Obviously some big-time concern on the face of head coach Jim Pankovich of the Edmonton Wildcats. That would be a big loss for them.
Oh, that would be a huge loss if they lost Len Andrews, obviously a very important part of their offense. And we've got a visitor here in the press box now as a Hornet has come in to visit Ron. He must be one sweet-smelling fellow.
It's my cologne. He's back for more.
Kill him.
We have got 56 seconds left to go here in the opening half. 7-1. The Regina Rams lead it. And say goodbye to the Hornet.
Say goodbye to the Hornet. He's dead.
And it's not the green Hornet, folks, let me tell you. This one's got a stinger.
Well, I think Len Andrews might have a stinger down there right now, too. He hasn't moved very much at all. They are rolling him over very slowly right now, so he obviously does have some sort of a neck or head problem, and they're being very careful with him on the field right now. The trainers of the Edmonton Wildcats are out there looking at him. I'm not sure if the doctor from the Regina Rams has gone onto the field yet. I see Dr. Brian Baruti's down on the sidelines, but he's standing there helping Alex Smith out with a few of the defensive signals right now, so getting his 2 cents in on what he figures the Ram defense should be doing. But I don't think you want to make too many changes in that department right now, as they've played a very effective half for the Regina Rams here.
Well, while we do have this little break in the action, let's take a look at some of the other teams that will have to be beaten on the way to another Canadian championship this year. Obviously, the class of the British Columbia Junior Football Association. Once again, the Surrey Rams. They have played 9 games, and they have won 9 games. They lead the standings there by 4 points over the Okanagan Sun. So once again, the Surrey Rams will provide some battles on the way to a Canadian championship, Paul.
Well, that's exactly right. And the Regina Rams and the Surrey Rams have locked horns a couple of times in the past few years, and they have been some very good football games. The Surrey Rams beat the Regina Rams out in Surrey 2 years ago, and the Regina Rams returned the favor last year when the Surrey Rams were here. So look forward to a very good contest there if the Regina Rams keep on winning.
On 3rd and 9, Hardy will have to punt from his own 30-yard line. Gets away a pretty good one that chases Jason Beulah all the way back to his 10-yard line. Almost runs into his own man there and then is forced out of bounds. At about the 12 by a couple of Wildcat tacklers. We had number 32 in there. That was Ryan Lother, and number 96, Dan Burak, making the tackle.
Well, a big 63-yard boot by Chris Hardy gets the ball on the turf, forces Jason Beulah back inside of his own 10-yard line to pick it up. He moves over that 10-yard line out to about the 11, so Hardy's punted the ball here this afternoon 9 times for a 46.9-yard average. Just an outstanding afternoon of kicking for the punter of the Edmonton Wildcats, Chris Hardy.
And we thank Mr. Ed Bankowski for doing his usually top job on the statistical end of things. The give is to Todd Ortner on 1st down. He has his first carry of the ball game, and it's a good one, as he will be very close to a 1st down.
And it's going to come back, I think, against the Regina Rams. There's a flag back about the 7-yard line. We'll see the officials are talking to the Edmonton Wildcats right now, so we'll wait for the official ruling on that play, but it is going to go against the Regina Rams. A holding call against the Regina Rams, so that's going to back them up a little further, half the distance to the goal line. Put the ball down around the 5.5-yard line for the Regina Rams, so 39 seconds to be played here. 1st down over again. I think the Regina Rams now, as they take their 7th penalty for 70 yards here this afternoon, are going to be content to just let this clock run out. They've got a 7-1 lead in a half of football, but they actually didn't look really that good on offense out here this afternoon.
All right, on 1st and 15, Leeson carrying the football by himself, but he is brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Some good penetration there by the defensive line of the Edmonton Wildcats.
Well, that's the one thing you don't want to do, is sort of let up at the end here with your quarterbacks carrying the ball. You don't want to get Darrell Leeson hurt. Probably just hand that ball off and run this clock out. Now 35 seconds remaining. The Regina Rams can take 20 seconds off the clock here before they have to snap the ball. That'll put them in a 3rd down situation, even if they don't pick up the 1st down, and allow them again to get off the field with this 7-1 lead at halftime.
20 seconds left to go here, the opening half. The Rams lead the Wildcats 7-1. Leeson, the give is to Ortner again. Still running hard, going strong. And he should have a Rams 1st down. An outstanding run by Todd Ortner.
A very good run by Todd Ortner again on that little delayed draw. Darrell Leeson just showing the ball and then handing off to Todd Ortner. Puts his head down, driving through that Wildcat defense. Picks up the 1st down out at the 23-yard line of the Regina Rams. So 9 seconds remaining in the ball game. I wonder if Darrell Leeson would like to put this one up deep.
Orthner, third year, 210-pound fullback out of Usher Collegiate here in Regina. He's a tough man and a very quiet young man. Don't see him say too much too often.
No, he does most of his talking on the football field. Again, a very tough fellow, no question about it. He's able to do that.
Talking?
Certainly not in the press box. But he's able to get out in front. Important position on the Regina Ram football team, but one that does not get a lot of glory is the fullback. The tailback, obviously, in the Regina Ram offense is the featured back. He's the one that's going to be carrying the ball. But if you don't have a good fullback in front of you, and that particular I formation that they run can be a long afternoon for those tailbacks. Both Todd Orthner and Jamie Bailey, two outstanding fullbacks, lead the way for people like Mike Maurer and Mark Bernard and Kyle Ort.
I formation, Ortner and Maurer in behind Leeson. Flags down on the play. The pitch is to Maurer. He tries to get to the outside, still running strong. He'll have another Rams first down, but there are flags down in the backfield.
I think we're going to get an offside call against the Edmonton Wildcats here. It appeared that one of their defensive linemen just jumped prior to the snap of that ball, but Mike Maurer on that little pitch, taking it from Darrell Leeson, getting around the corner, turning upfield, puts his shoulders down, drives into those Wildcats, takes a good bump just as he goes out of bounds there, but he's going to be knocked out around the 35-yard line, which will be enough yardage again to move the sticks for the Regina Rams.
Just time left for one play for the Rams. They go deep here, Paul, or just go down on one knee?
Well, why not go deep? You never know. We've seen it happen a few times before, and some very important football games. Colorado against Michigan this year is an example to pull out just an unbelievable victory. And obviously a few years ago, the quarterback of the Calgary Stampeders, Doug Flutie, with that very famous pass that he completed in the Orange Bowl game.
Again, some early movement. They give it to Orthner. He goes off tackle to the left side and will have a gain of about 5 or 6 yards. But again, there is a flag down on the call, and the early indication is offside for the Wildcats.
It's going to be an offside call against the Edmonton Wildcats with no time remaining to be played here. It looks like the Regina Rams are going to accept this penalty, so we should have one more play in the half.
That was in 54. First down repeated.
The half cannot end on an infraction, so we will get one last play, and they should put it up deep here.
Well, we certainly want them to put it up, don't we? 3 times now we've been asking for it. But
it hasn't been a very exciting half.
I don't think our headsets are obviously plugged into the offensive coordinator, Bernie Schmitz, because he hasn't picked up our signals here from the press box.
Well, Leeson is rolling to his left to pass. Puts it up, looking for Beulah. It is kicked off, and we also have a flag down on the play. I think we're going to have an interference call. Intercepted.
Well, if that's an interference call against the Edmonton Wildcats, that is going to be one huge penalty. We'll have to see what happens here. Again, in amateur ball, though, it's not as important because you only get the 15 yards, but that would move the ball down to about midfield and probably a little too far for even Matt Kellett to attempt a field goal. It's going to be interference against the Regina Rams. So what we thought might have been a big play is going to turn out to be likely nothing.
And the Wildcats were getting ready to get off the field and head to the dressing room. Actually, some of the Rams have already headed for the dressing room, but I think that the the Edmonton Wildcats are going to get a chance for one last play here.
Well, the officials are having a huddle, obviously, trying to sort this out right now down on the field, right about midfield here. They've come and they're talking it over with the Edmonton Wildcat captains about where they would like to have the ball and whether they would like to have one more play.
Well, if I were them, I certainly would like to have one more play. Still discussing it and trying to decide. In any case, it was Jeff Hollingshead coming up with the interception for the Edmonton Wildcats.
Well, you could see that ball just hang up against that stiff breeze as well. Darrell Leeson had a pretty good throwing motion, although he was under some pressure back there in the pocket, but the ball just hung up there. That gave Hollingshead time to get over, get in position, and come up with that pick. So we wanted the long one at the end. They threw it, and now they got the ball picked off. Maybe that's why they weren't listening to us before. I was
going to say, why the heck did they listen to us?
Yeah, right. Why didn't they just keep the ball on the ground and we'd be in the halftime show right now?
Oh, now they have decided the first half is officially over, folks. The score, the Regina Rams 7 and the Edmonton Wildcats 1. Stand by. We do have the halftime show coming up next. I will chat with Leader Post columnist, Mr. Ian Hamilton. and you are listening to the Halftime Show, and you are also listening to Rams football. Semifinal, the Regina Rams and the Edmonton Wildcats. At halftime, the Rams lead at 7-1. Paul Barnaby is back with me now, and Paul, let's check out some of the pertinent statistics from half number one, and I'm sure there's not a lot of them.
Well, no, there isn't really a lot of them. Both teams actually struggling on offense here this afternoon. The Regina Rams ended up with 214 yards of total offense, 73 in the ground, 141 passing. Darrell Leeson was 8 for 16 on the afternoon here so far in the first half for 141. He had that one big touchdown throw to his brother Mike. So they've obviously got to get her in gear here for the second half.
On the kickoff, it is a short one by Matt Kellett, high and short, that bounces at about the 39-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats, and they down it immediately right there, and that is where they will begin 1st and 10.
Well, and they're going to come out on offense, and they certainly did absolutely nothing in that first half. They had 86 yards of total offense here this afternoon, 47 yards rushing and only 39 passing. Chris Hardy was 3 for 11 for 39 yards and threw those 2 interceptions. So Len Andrews, their big ball carrier, 13 carries for 44 yards, but certainly not what we saw him do the last time he was here in Regina.
Wildcats do have the ball at the south end of the field. They are going with the wind for this third quarter. The pass attempt is complete for Matt Cunningham, and he will have a Wildcats first down to start this second half. And Hardy may be a little bit lucky there. I believe it was Michael Milo who jumped up high and almost batted that ball down.
Well, he got up high in the air, but Chris Hardy just had enough on it to get it over top of him. Matt Cunningham comes up with the big catch, and they move the yardsticks, and they're going to be forced to make a few adjustments here in the second half now as we get a report that Len Andrews is finished for the afternoon, so that takes a big chunk of their offense out of there. We don't expect them back for the rest of this ball game.
Hardy fakes the give to Healy. Here comes the chase. It is complete for a gain of about 6 yards. On the receiving end of that catch was number 80 for the Edmonton Wildcats. That is Levi Ellinan.
And a big hit put on by defensive half Jeff Haggerty, moving up very smartly over on that far side of the field. Comes up with the catch, and Haggerty there with the big hit. Gets him down after about a 5-yard pickup on the play. So the Edmonton Wildcats have the ball at center field right now. So they're going with the wind here in the third quarter. The Regina Rams will have it in the fourth quarter. Obviously, they need to put some points on the board here quickly.
On 1st and 10 from midfield, the give is to Johannes Van Leenen in for the injured. Actually, that is Lothar they have in the backfield here. I have on my depth chart as Johannes Van Leenen as the backup halfback, but Lothar taking over for Andrews so far.
Well, we're very happy that Lothar is in there and not the other fellow, because I'm not sure I'd be able to say his name. I'll have to leave it up to you on that particular call, but he didn't get anything, no matter who carried the ball that time, and the Edmonton Wildcats are forced to punt to the Rams.
Hardy punting from his own 45. He tries to angle it out of bounds. Jason Beulah, the lone man back, lets it bounce to him at about the 10-yard line. And he will pick up just a couple, 3 yards, and the Rams will start 1st and 10 from about their own 13-yard line.
Well, the Regina Rams only have one punt returner back right now, and obviously that is respecting the running ability of Chris Hardy. They want to make sure they've got enough people on the line of scrimmage to make sure that they keep him in the pocket and punt the ball away. The returners, obviously, their job is to make sure they get a hold of it, don't fumble it, let the offense come on the field. They'll do the moving of the ball with the offensive unit as opposed to really trying to break anything big on a punt return here and take away that threat of Chris Hardy running from that third down position.
1st and 10 for the Rams from their own 13-yard line. Maurer and Ortner are in the backfield. The give is to Bailey, actually, and he has a nice gain and should have the first down to about the 25-yard line. I do believe that is Bailey's second carry of the ball game, and it is a good one.
Well, this is something I think the Regina Rams should be doing a little bit more of, actually, is running that fullback. Obviously, the Edmonton Wildcats are keying on the tailback of the Regina Rams, and we mentioned before that certainly is the featured back in that Ram offense, but this will give them a little bit different look. We saw Todd Ortner have some success at the end of the first half carrying the ball, and now they've started off the second half giving the ball to the big fullback.
This time Leeson wants to run it himself. He goes off tackle. We've got flags down on the play after a gain of about 6 or 7 yards by Darrell Leeson. We'll find out what the flags are about, and I do believe it's coming back.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be against the Regina Rams right now. The head official, Hal Wilkie, is talking it over with the captains of the Edmonton Wildcats, so likely get a holding call or something like that on the Regina Rams as Darrell Leeson tried to squeeze through there and pick up some yards. No, we're going to get an illegal block from behind against the Regina Rams, so that's going to negate that 6-yard pickup by Darrell Leeson. Push the ball back down to about the 16-yard line. Looks like the final spot will be about the 15-yard line. They've got to get to the 35 to pick up that first down.
Long way to go here. If anybody can get it done, Leeson is your man with 12 minutes, 35 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. The Rams lead it 7-1. Bailey is the ball carrier. Not much running room that time. He'll be down after a gain of maybe a couple of yards.
Well, should have actually turned that ball upfield more, but Jamie Bailey just trying to go to the outside, and I think that's the way that play is designed to go, actually, with the blocking up front. But good job by that front four, again, of the Edmonton Wildcats, maintaining their ground and keeping that pressure on that Regina Ram offense. They move the ball forward for about maybe a half-yard gain on the play. So they're looking at 2nd and 20 now from just outside their own 15-yard line.
Jamie Bailey, the 6'1", 240-pound fullback out of Moose Jaws Central Collegiate, and if he is to be successful, he has to run up the middle. Leeson looking deep downfield for Eamon once again, and just as Eamon was ready to catch the football, it bounced out of his hands, and it was intercepted by the Wildcats and their safety, Michael Plant.
Well, again, big pressure up front on Darrell Leeson, just manages to avoid the rush, puts the ball downfield, but Chad Eamon cannot come up with the catch. The Edmonton Wildcats with a big turnover here. They've got the ball on the Ram 50-yard line, the wind at their back. 11 minutes and 43 seconds to play here in the third quarter.
It is 1st and 10 for the Wildcats from the Rams 50-yard line. Hardy is the quarterback. He fakes the give to Lothar, looking to pass, gets it away. It is complete for a gain of about 5 yards on the receiving end. His first catch of the game, Jason Crislock.
Well, Jason Crislock was a very big part of the Edmonton Wildcat offense last year, and for whatever reasons this year in the games that we've seen against the Regina Rams, they really have neglected him. He was a tremendous receiver last year, did a great deal of damage to the Regina Ram defense, but really have stayed away from him this year. Again, big pressure up front on Chris Hardy, so that Regina Ram front four starting to exert itself on that Wildcat offensive line.
2nd and 5 for the Wildcats. From the Rams 45, the give is to Lothar. No way, says Chad Zipchen. They lock him up in the backfield. Michael Milo in there as well. Waydell Starr providing some help. A nice defensive play there by Chad Zipchen.
Well, a big defensive play by Chad Zipchen. Again, getting that penetration across the line of scrimmage. He gets a hold of Lothar by one leg. That allows the rest of his mates time to get there. Mike Milo, Waydell Starr arrive on the scene. They've got him down back at the original line of scrimmage, the 50. That'll bring Chris Hardy back on the field again to punt the ball back to the Regina Rams.
Chad Zipchen, the 5'11", 230-pound defensive lineman out of Usher Collegiate here in Regina. The snap is a high one to Hardy. Does a good job to get it away, and he gets away a high kick that Beulah will let bounce at the 15. It goes back into the end zone. Beulah giving chase, touched the football, I do believe, and does a good job to come up with it. Wow, that was dangerous.
Oh, dangerous is not the word for that. That would have been a huge break for the Edmonton Wildcats there. Jason Beulah just letting that ball bounce around the 10-yard line. Really should have stepped up and tried to make the catch at the 10-yard line, but a 70-yard punt by Chris Hardy is going to go for a single point for the Edmonton Wildcats. That makes the score now 7-2 for the Regina Rams. A big play by Chris Hardy almost results in a touchdown for the Edmonton Wildcats.
Unbelievable. We have seen the Rams, Paul, make mistakes here this afternoon, turnovers, and I only seen it one other time in the last couple of years, and that was the last time they played the Hilltops when they had that many turnovers.
Exactly, and that cost the Regina Rams big time as they lost that game 16-12 against the Hilltops, so obviously do not want a repeat performance of that.
Leeson on 1st and 10 looking for the sidelines, and he just threw it away.
Well, he had Josh Shaw open on the near sidelines here down about the 40-yard line. He had just come from his wide receiver position, broke to the sideline, was standing out there wide open, but Darrell Leeson again with some big pressure in that pocket, unable to really complete his throwing motion. That allowed the ball to sail over the head of Josh Shaw. Falls for an incompletion. Rams 2nd and 10 from their own 35-yard line.
Leeson is the quarterback. Ortner and Maurer are in the backfield. Goodmanson and Shaw are the wideouts. Leeson drops straight back to pass, has some time, looking for Eamon, and it is over his head. Eamon was wide open on the play.
Well, we've seen that a few times from Darrell Leeson. When he's really not in his proper throwing sort of motion, he ends up getting that ball a little bit high. He sailed a few of them over the heads of the receivers here this afternoon, and obviously he just needs to settle himself down a little bit. He's got his receivers open. He's got some pretty good time provided by that offensive line in front of him. He just has to settle down and make sure he delivers the ball and gets that completion into his receivers.
No question about it. I think Darrell Leeson a little too tight coming into this ball game, and he's still a little tight right now.
Well, he tries so hard, and he's so competitive, as you mentioned, Ron, that certainly got the capability of turning a ball game around totally by himself, but he's not having one of his best afternoons here today.
Kellett punting into the wind. It is a low line drive kick. It chases the Hilltops back to their own 30-yard line. They follow the football right there. There are flags down. The Rams don't like it.
Well, the argument is that the receiver for the Edmonton Wildcats actually touched the ball, a 37-yard punt by Matt Kellett that time, but the official on the spot said no, he didn't touch it, and that caught Derek Fink inside of that 5-yard restraining zone, so that's going to be a 15-yard penalty against the Regina Rams and give the Wildcats a little better field position here now with 9 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the Wildcats enjoying the wind here. They've got the ball out to their own 53-yard line. It's getting very important part of the ball game for them to actually score some points.
Hardy looking over that Rams defense. Wants to pass on 1st down, looking for Chris Locke. It was behind him, and Hardy also goes down hard as Steve Uren comes through to lay a licking on him.
Well, Steve Uren, big 280-pound defensive tackle of the Regina Rams, just burst through that line of scrimmage. Obviously, somebody's got him fired up out there. Chris Hardy delivers that ball, and Steve Uren with a big hit on Chris Hardy, the Wildcats have already lost Len Andrews. If they lose their quarterback, Chris Hardy, here at this particular point in the ball game, they are going to be in some deep trouble.
Steve Uren is a big boy, 6'2", 271 pounds in his 4th year out of Martin Collegiate.
And I think he's eating a few McDonald's hamburgers along the way here, because I'm sure he's tipping the Toledos at over 280 right now.
Well, I've had a few McDonald's burgers myself.
Since the start of the year.
My idea of variety in my diet is McDonald's, A&W, and Burger King.
Oh, that's a balanced diet.
A few free plugs for fast food chains there, folks. 8 minutes and 52 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. The Rams lead it 7-2. Sounds more like a hockey game, but we are playing football here this afternoon at Taylor Field.
Well, the Wildcats have been involved in a hockey game in the last couple of weeks now, losing to the Calgary Coles 5-0, and we see Chris Hardy just slowly making his way to the far side of the field and holding on to his hip, so that's certainly not a good sign, although it doesn't appear that he's going to keep him out of the ball game for very long.
The backup quarterback is Rod Moll. He is in now, and he fumbles the football, but then picks it up and wants to run to the sidelines, and he is hit hard by a couple of Regina Rams. Who was in there? Michael Moylo, Lloyd McDonald was in there, as well as Marco Ricci.
Well, that's exactly right, and it's welcome to the PFC, just rolling around to his left, trying to get around the corner. Lloyd McDonald gets a hold of him, and Marco Ricci delivers a blow immediately. That's a big hit on the quarterback as he comes in to get his first taste of action here this afternoon, and that's going to put the Edmonton Wildcats in a punting situation, and Chris Hardy is indeed back on the field, so they are going to let him punt here. We'll see if that injury that he picked up on the previous play has any effect on his punting.
And what a big blow it would be to the Wildcats if Hardy could not carry on here. High snap, has to show some athleticism there to get it down, but the punt is not a good one. Corey Borsa picks it up. He's to the 50, the 55, and across into Wildcats territory at about the 53-yard line, where he is finally brought down. And some great penetration there by the Rams. Defensive line got through to get a hand on that punt by Chris Hardy.
Well, again, some big pressure, and it was caused partially by that poor snap. The Edmonton Wildcats the last couple of times have just floated that long snap back to Chris Hardy. He's unable to get that ball off cleanly. Corey Borsa does a good job of picking it up around the 50-yard line. There's going to be a no-yards penalty charged to the Edmonton Wildcats on that particular play, obviously, as everyone was around the ball as Borsa picked it up.
No yards.
The no-yards call against the Edmonton Wildcats. They're going to decline it and take Corey Borsa's return down to the Wildcat 54-yard line.
And you know Corey enjoyed bringing that ball back.
No yards charged against Edmonton.
First and 10 for the Rams from midfield. Leeson fakes the give to Maurer, then rolls out to his right. Looking downfield, complete to Josh Shaw. No, he just could not hang on.
Well, some pretty good coverage provided by the Edmonton Wildcats that time. Franz Clarkson, D-back, moving over to put some pressure on Josh Shaw just as the ball was arriving. Looked like Darrell Leeson was going to continue to roll out, try to get around that right side, but he pulled up at the line of scrimmage, elected to throw it down to Josh Shaw, but it falls for an incompletion. Rams now 2nd and 10 from the Wildcat 54-yard line.
Maurer comes out, Bailey comes in, Goodmanson comes into the ball game. Goodmanson, the exciting speedster out of Riffle here in Regina. That boy's got some wheels. Bailey and Orton in the backfield. Leeson wants to pass, has some time, but it is batted down at the line of scrimmage. It will be a 3rd and punting situation for the Regina Rams.
Well, the Regina Rams will be happy here with this wind blowing in their face, just actually to burn up as much time as they can off that clock here in the 3rd quarter. 7 minutes and 49 seconds remaining to be played. Matt Kellett on the field obviously wants to try to get off a good punt here, see if they can get the Edmonton Wildcats pinned deep in their end. Obviously, Chris Hardy hurting a bit from that hit from Steve Uren. That certainly, even if he does come back in the ball game, is likely to limit his mobility, and certainly that is his strong point and the big part of his football game.
Yeah, he must have been hurting a little bit coming into this game, Paul, because he has not done a lot of running. Kellett pulls the ball down, wants to try and run with the football, but he is yanked down by number 96, Dan Burak. And we'll see what transpires here.
Well, I'm not sure if that was a called play from the bench or whether Matt Kellett thought that he saw something there. Obviously taking a look and then tucking the ball underneath, tries to get around that corner, but the Edmonton Wildcats would have nothing to do with that. That's a big turnover for the Regina Rams. Obviously, they were in some very good field position, wanted to get that punt off, see if they can hold the Wildcats down there. As it turns out, the Wildcats are going to have the ball back on the Regina Ram 50-yard line. They'll go from there, 1st and 10, with Chris Hardy back in the ball game.
7 minutes and 24 seconds left to go here in quarter number 3. The Rams lead the Wildcats 7-2. Hardy is the quarterback. Drops straight back to pass. Tries a quick little hitter there to number 21. That is Colin Andrews, but it was at his feet. It will be 2nd and 10.
Well, the Regina Rams coming with a blitz that time, and obviously I think some very good calls by the defensive coordinator, Alex Smith, right now, and that is to put some pressure on Chris Hardy. Randy Sorchinski coming hard. Steve Uren again from his D-line position, so he's turned his game up a notch, obviously watching Chad Zipchen beside him, who's had some great penetration here this afternoon. He's decided to get into the act as well.
On 2nd and 10, Hardy looking over that Rams defense. Takes the snap. He wants to run himself this time. Has no room as he is brought down from behind by Michael Milo. The Wildcats will be forced to punt once again.
Well, again, a good job by Steve Uren up front, just getting some good push on that offensive line and then flows down the line of scrimmage. Mike Milo's there, Steve Uren, a host of tacklers for the Regina Rams. That's going to put the Wildcats again in a 3rd down punting situation, so their troubles on offense continue here this afternoon. I'm not sure that they've actually picked up a 1st down here in the 3rd quarter.
Michael Milo, 6'2", 219-pound rush end out of Ituna High School. Hardy gets away a dandy punt, though. That Beulah Let's bounce back into the end zone, and he is forced out of bounds there by number 16 for the Wildcats. And that will be another single point for them, making the score the Rams 7, the Wildcats 3. We have got 6 minutes, 33 seconds left to go here in quarter number 3. You are listening to Rams football.
First and 10 for the Rams. Ball from about
Fights hard for a gain of about 7 yards. Another strong run by Todd Ortner, who's having a pretty good ball game here this afternoon, Paul.
Well, he's having a very good ball game, and again, I think very good play selection by that Regina Ram offensive unit that time. Again, going with the fullback. The Wildcats are keying on the tailback of the Regina Rams. The fullbacks are starting to enjoy some success out here. Good production on first down, moves the ball out to the 42-yard line. Rams will go from there, second and about 3.
The give is to Bailey up the middle, and he will have the first down easily as he crosses the 45-yard line.
Again, using those big fullbacks. Todd Ortner was in there the time before. This time, Jamie Bailey just crashing in there. He gets the ball out over the 45-yard line. First down for the Regina Rams, and again, more importantly, starts to eat up that clock here in the third quarter now with only 5 minutes and 35 seconds left to play, where the Wildcats will enjoy that wind advantage.
Bailey, one of several Moose Jaw boys on this Rams team. Jeff Haggerty, another one of the boys that has made a big contribution to this Rams organization. Leeson looking for brother Michael, and almost an outstanding catch by Michael Leeson inside of Hilltop's territory. Kind of slipped and fell, but just about managed to hang on to that football.
Well, that would have been an absolutely great grab by Mike Leeson that time, coming from his slot back position over on the near side here, just streaking down the field in the seam, gets in behind linebacker Chad Vath. Brother Darrell throws it in the only place that he can. Mike Leeson goes to the ground, is unable to come up with the grab, but very good attempt by the Leeson brothers that time.
Second and 10 for the Rams from their own 45-yard line. Ortner and Bailey in the backfield. Oh my goodness, that one almost intercepted by linebacker Chad Vath, as Leeson did not have a good handle on the football before he let it go, and that could have been a costly one.
Well, Darrell Leeson again just having a little bit of trouble here this afternoon, only 8 of 23 on the day right now, so he's completed 8 of 23 for 141, has not thrown a completion here in the second half. So he's having a little trouble out here this afternoon.
Well, we have seen Leeson come back from poor performances before, and I'm sure this afternoon will be no exception, but he has had his troubles here today so far. Kellen gets away a pretty good kick into the wind. Fielded by Cunningham at his own 30, has some running room to the outside, far side of the field, and he is careened out of bounds. And who was down there first? Todd Ortner, who's having a good game carrying the ball, and just laid a big hit on Cunningham.
Well, a very good punt by Matt Kellett that time, hung up in the air and allowed the returners to get there, but Matt Cunningham getting around the outside, and Todd Ortner delivering the big blow.
7-3 for the Rams. You are listening to Regina Rams football on 980. Attempting the pass for number 21, Colin Andrews. It was over his head and nearly intercepted by the Regina Rams.
Well, again, some good pressure up front by Rush and Mike Milo that time. Chris Hardy trying to roll to his left. He's more effective when he gets out of the pocket and he has some time to look downfield. Mike Milo has done an absolutely outstanding job here this afternoon of keeping him in the pocket, forcing him to make those poor throws here this afternoon.
On 2nd and 10, they pick the give up the middle. Hardy lets it go, and intercepted, yes! forced by Danny Pascu. We do have flags down in the backfield. It will be a holding call against the Wildcats, and Danny Pascu has his second interception of the ball game.
Well, again, Chris Hardy forced to pull up on his rollout. He doesn't like to do that. He wants to get outside. Throws the ball over the middle. Dan Pascu, that safety, roaming around back there for the Regina Rams, comes up with a great shoestring tackle at his own 45-yard line. So that puts the Regina Ram offense on the field here now with 3 minutes and 47 seconds to play here in the third quarter.
The defense has been giving the Rams good field position and a few turnovers here this afternoon. They just picked off their third interception of the ball game. Let's see what the Rams offense can do with it this time. Leeson wants to run the football. We have a flag down in the backfield. Leeson will have what looks like a first down, but we do have a holding call against the Rams. The ball is coming back.
Well, we're getting lots of penalty calls right now on both sides of the field here, so Edmonton Wildcats ran into penalty trouble. The Regina Rams are running into some penalty trouble, and it seems when they get into those 1st and 20 situations on either team, they're having a great deal of difficulty converting against two very tough defensive units here this afternoon.
They are both playing superbly here today.
I just wanted to mention, too, I was just looking at the stats here. Chris Hardy has punted the ball 13 times today for a 50.1-yard average.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
Those are professional numbers right there.
Oof, those are better than professional numbers.
3 minutes, 20 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Leeson wants to pass, has some time. Attempts it for Mike Maurer. It was in and out of his hands. Leeson went down hard. It will be a 2nd and 20 for the Regina Rams.
Well, just got tangled up with one of the officials out there. Mike Maurer coming from his running back position, just leaking in behind the offensive line and tripped over the official, put a great hit on him just as the ball arrived. So very unfortunate for the Regina Rams, but it falls for an incompletion. That's just part of the tough luck that happens out there. So they'll go now 2nd and 20 from their own 35-yard line.
Leeson is the quarterback. Jamie Bailey and Mike Maurer are in the backfield. Chad Eamon, Sean Harvey in the slot backs, Josh Shaw and Jason Gula are the wideouts. Leeson puts it up. There's a man open. Chad Eamon complete to the 40, inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Another big play. Leeson to Eamon.
Well, just a huge play, and actually one very fortunate for the Regina Rams. Darrell Leeson flushed out of the pocket, just hurled that ball downfield. Chad Eamon able to run underneath it, comes up with the big grab. That takes it down to the 33-yard line of the Wildcats. So what looked like was going to be a big sack for the Regina Rams turns into a 33-yard pass and run play. Darrell Leeson to Chad Eamon.
They have it going here this afternoon. Their second big play of the ball game. Their first big play set up the other touchdown, or the only touchdown of the ball game so far, when the brothers Leeson hooked up Darrell to Michael. Let's see what they can do here. 2 minutes, 35 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Leeson wants to pass again. It is complete to Goodmanson over the middle. That will be another Rams first down to about the 22-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats.
Well, Darrell Leeson just had all kinds of time that time. Back in the pocket, takes a look, takes a second look, and then guns it over the middle to Dan Goodmanson. Actually came back a little bit, but he did have enough yardage for that first down marker. Was actually down around the 20-yard line, but took a step backwards, got tackled at the 22. But that's enough to move the chains for the Rams. So with 2:19 left to play here in the third quarter, the Rams are threatening to add to their 7-3 lead.
And Goodmanson, 5'10", 155-pound receiver out of Riffle High School. He's not very big, but he is fast. On first down, the give is to Bailey. Looked like he had some running room there, but an outstanding job by number 28. Was that Michael Plant who came up and made the tackle from his safety spot?
Right on, and a safety blitz that time just coming, and it looked like Jamie Bailey was going to be able to get around that corner, but Michael Plant just coming up and just cutting the feet out from underneath him. If he could have got around Mike Plant, there was a lot of running room, and you get a big 240-pound fullback with a full head of steam up. Look out if he gets into that defensive secondary of the Edmonton Wildcats.
It is 2nd and 7 for the Rams. From the Wildcats, 18. Leeson rolling out to his left, touches it, he's going to run. He's got some room to the 10, to the ball. Gives the football after scoring the touchdown to the Wildcat defender, but Darrell Leeson puts the Rams in front by a count of 13-3, awaiting the point after.
Well, Brent Miller from his defensive end position had a bit of an angle, but Darrell Eason with his great speed simply outruns him to the corner, gets into the end zone, turns around and flips him the ball as if to say, you're going to have to go a lot faster than that to be able to catch up to me. A big touchdown for the Regina Rams against the wind here in the third quarter.
Matt Kellett is on to attempt the point after. Chris Orban, another one of those riffle boys, will be holding it. The ball is down, and it is good. No flags down on the play, so make the score. The Regina Rams 14, the Edmonton Wildcats 3. We're going to take another break. You're listening to Rams Football. Wildcats, who brings it across the 40 to about the 41-yard line.
Well, he brought it out to the 41-yard line, and now it's going to be up to that Edmonton Wildcat offense. Obviously, only 3 points on the board all afternoon. They have got to get something on the board if they want to threaten the Regina Rams here.
Just a minute left with the wind at their backs. Hardy fumbled the snap. Now he's running for his life with Michael Milo giving chase, and Milo forces him out of bounds right at about the line of scrimmage.
Well, and Chris Hardy is very disgusted. He thought for once he was going to be able to get around the corner there on Mike Milo, but with his great speed from that rush end position, he simply ran him to the sidelines, got him out about the 40-yard line. That's going to be about a 1-yard loss on the play. So again, an outstanding effort by rush end Mike Milo here this afternoon. He's been after Chris Hardy all day. 5 carries for only 3 yards. He had over 100 yards against the Rams the last time they played.
And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the other end, Dennis Losley, who has also been doing an outstanding job and allowing Michael Milo to do his. On 2nd and 11, Hardy wants to pass. Rifles it in! He's intercepted by Lloyd McDonald! Hardy in front of him! He is brought down at about the 32-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats. The 4th interception of the game for this Rams defense, and that is also Lloyd McDonald's 4th interception of the season.
Well, again, just dropping back into that hook zone from his inside linebacking position. Again, Chris Hardy, not an accomplished passer for the Edmonton Wildcats, threw the ball in perfectly to Lloyd McDonald, took it upfield, gets her down to the 32-yard line. Big opportunity for the Regina Rams here to really put the icing on the cake. If they get another score here, with the way the Wildcat offense has been operating, they are going to be in deep trouble.
Lloyd McDonald, another one of those Moose Jaw boys we were talking about. He is out of Peacock High School in Moose Jaw. The counter play, it is back, it is recovered by the Wildcats. So wow, we have another turnover immediately, and the Wildcats get the ball back. Darrell Leeson was hammered in the backfield, lost the football, and the Wildcats take over.
Well, Darrell Leeson just dropping back in the pocket, looking for that big strike right away to see if they can get some points on the board, and coming from the backside appeared to be Ben Seward from his defensive end position. Got in there, laid a big hit on Darrell Leeson on the blind side. The ball popped out. Very fortunate for the Regina Rams that Darrell Leeson popped up and was able to walk off the field.
That was a big hit, so we're playing a little hopscotch here. The Wildcats have it back. Hardy gives to Lothar. He's almost tackled in the backfield. Then at the line of scrimmage, Randy Stroczynski says, "Hello, Ryan. You ain't going anywhere, buddy."
Well, you've got 3 guys there that have played a whale of a ball game as well. Chad Zipchen again from his defensive tackle position, and the 2 inside linebackers, Randy Stroczynski and Lloyd McDonald, in on that stop for another 1-yard loss for the Edmonton Wildcats. That's the end of the third quarter. They're going to have to go into the wind here in the fourth.
It is the Regina Rams 14, the Edmonton Wildcats 3 in this PFC semifinal. You are listening to Rams football on 980.
Ticket number draw now. Ticket number 19727. 19727.
They've got to do something a little more dramatic here if they hope to get themselves back in this football game.
Hardy will have to punt from his own 30-yard line. Standing back at his 30-yard line is Jason Beulah, the top-ranked punt returner in the PFC this season, has returned one for a touchdown. Chris Frankowski gets through to block it. Who's got the football? The Wildcats do, but the Rams will take over with outstanding field position at the Wildcats' 42-yard line. Chris Frankowski getting through to block it.
Well, that was just a poor choice on Chris Hardy's part that time, the Edmonton Wildcat punter. He got that snap, delayed for a minute, looked like he was even contemplating maybe taking off with that football. That gave Frankowski time to break through there, gets his hands up. A big block for the Regina Rams, and with the wind at their back now, they take over on the Wildcat 43-yard line.
Leeson is the quarterback. Bailey and Ortner are in the backfield. Beulah and Shaw are the wideouts. Leeson drops straight back over the middle to Bailey. He hits his man hard, and he will get the first down. Wow, folks, you have to be here to feel that one and see that one, because the guy met Bailey head on, and he sent him flying backwards about 2 yards.
Well, that's the middle linebacker of the Edmonton Wildcats, Kenton Martz, and obviously the middle linebacker is usually one of your big hitters. Jamie Bailey just saw him coming at the last minute, took that pass from Darrell Leeson, put his shoulder down and knocked Martz flat on his keister, got ahead down to the Wildcat 32.5-yard line.
As a matter of fact, Martz was the defensive player of the week in the PFC last week. Now on first down, Leeson for Shaw, complete down to the 10-yard line, another Rams first down.
Well, a very good throw by Darrell Leeson that time. We've seen him struggle here this afternoon with a few high throws. That time he delivers a perfect strike to Josh Shaw, just running that post pattern from his wide out position, comes down the field, breaks into the middle. Perfect throw by Darrell Leeson. Josh Shaw comes up with the catch. The Rams have it just outside the Wildcat 10-yard line.
I do believe that was the first catch of the ball game, too, for Josh Shaw, the 5'10", 160-pound receiver, also out of Martin Collegiate here in Regina. First and 10 Rams from the Wildcats 10. The pitch is to Maurer. He tries to get to the outside. Good job by the Wildcat D-line there to bring him down right at the line of scrimmage, but there is a flag down on the play.
Well, there's a flag down on the play. An early indication would appear to be offside against the Edmonton Wildcats. Just jumped over on that far side of the field there. That's going to give the Regina Rams 5 yards on that play, move them down to just outside the 5-yard line now.
Edmonton.
They will go from there. First and 5. They can actually pick up a touchdown at about, or first down, pardon me, at about the half-yard mark. So they've got a couple cracks here to put this ball in the end zone, and as I mentioned before, if they get one now, leading this ball game 14-3, that's going to be just about the end for the Edmonton Wildcats.
13 minutes and 11 seconds are left to go in the fourth and final quarter of this PFC semifinal between the Rams and the Wildcats. On first and goal, Leeson puts it up. Complete for a touchdown to Dan Goodmanson, the Ripple guy.
Well, and you can see the Edmonton Wildcats now are starting to hang their heads as they realize that they are in some big trouble. Kenton Martz holding on to his helmet over there, maybe still feeling the effects of that blow that Jamie Bailey delivered, but a big touchdown to Dan Goodmanson, floated over top of the Edmonton Wildcat defender. Goodmanson comes up with a great catch. Regina Rams out in front now, 20-3 with the point after coming up.
And what a beautiful tight spiral that was, thrown by Darrell Leeson. Did not seem to have his passing arm earlier in the ball game, but he certainly does right now as he put it right on the money for Dan Goodmanson.
It is amazing how Darrell Leeson can at 1 minute look just like he just is not in the ball game at all, almost floating passes over guys' heads, and the next minute comes out and throws strikes all over the football field through a beautiful 22-yard pass to Josh Shaw to put them in scoring position, and then a very nice touch pass to Dan Goodmanson for the score. Darrell Leeson, he's an amazing quarterback.
The point after attempt was good by Matt Kellett, making the score. The Rams 21 and the Edmonton Wildcats 3. You are listening to Rams football. Hardy wants to pass, and he's got a lot of passing to do. Has some time. No, he doesn't. Zipchen providing the pressure. Hardy basically threw it away, but there are no flags down on the play. They've given him a bit of a break there.
Well, they gave him a huge break that time. Again, some big pressure up front. Chris Hardy just dropping back. It looked like he was trying to actually set up a screen here over on the right side of his offensive line, but obviously the running back didn't get over there, and big pressure up front, forced to get rid of the ball, falls for an incompletion. They'll go 2nd and 10 now from their own 21-yard line.
The Rams defense has been outstanding once again this afternoon. Dennis Losi, Michael Milo at the end, Steve Urin, and Chad Zipchen are the tackles. Wavell Starr, Randy Stroczynski, and Lloyd McDonald are the linebackers. Hardy in trouble once again. This time gets it away for Chris Locke, but he will be stopped short of the first down by about 4 or 5 yards. And the Wildcats will be forced to punt again.
Well, again, I just cannot say enough about Mike Milo from that rush end position. Just gets rid of the blocker, puts some big pressure on Chris Hardy, forces him to throw the ball, and that's what the Regina Rams wanted to do here this afternoon, was make Chris Hardy put the ball in the air. They have picked up a total of 100 yards only in the ball game with 12 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Just an outstanding job by that Ram defense.
And Michael Milo has had an outstanding afternoon here this afternoon. A lot of pressure on this kid coming into the season, filling in for a guy by the name of Doug Huber. The punt is fielded by Jason Beulah at midfield, makes some nice moves, and is finally brought down inside of Hilltop's territory at the 50-yard line. We do have a flag down on the play, and I do believe, Paul, that might have been a face mask.
I think you're absolutely right, just the way that he went down that time, and it was right at the tackle that the flag was thrown. It's going to be rough play call against the Edmonton Wildcats. Jason Beulah doing a good job of catching this football this time, not letting it get to the turf, and then turning upfield immediately. He gets out around the corner, picks up some pretty good yardage. Rough play against the Edmonton Wildcats is going to move it deeper into Wildcat territory, so the wheels are coming off a little bit here for the Edmonton Wildcats. They put up a pretty good show in the first half, but now here in the second half, the Regina Rams again have come to life, and they lead this ball game 21-3.
Darrell Leeson is the quarterback. Bailey and Maurer are in the backfield. They fake the counter play. Leeson looking for more. Has the man open. Oh, he just overthrew. Who was that? That was Josh Shaw on the receiving end there, but he was open, and Leeson missed him by that much.
Well, some very good faking actually in the backfield that time by Darrell Leeson. They faked the little lead play to the tailback Mike Maurer, and then also faked the counter to Chad Eamon coming back the other way. That really froze the defensive lineman of the Edmonton Wildcats. Allowed time for Josh Shaw to get downfield. He was open, but the ball just slightly overthrown. Would have been a big score for the Regina Rams.
The Rams now with 4 receivers to the wide side of the field. Leeson looking for Maurer across the middle and got a little too anxious there. He had 2 men open, actually 2 men in the same vicinity, Leeson and Maurer, but overthrew them both.
Well, exactly. It looked actually, if Mike Maurer would have let that ball go, Michael Leeson actually bending in front of the D-back for the Edmonton Wildcats was in a very good position to make that catch, and I think that Darrell Leeson was actually going to him. Mike Maurer thought the pass might have been for him and tipped it, and it fell for an incompletion. A pretty good defensive play that time by Mike Maurer.
Matt Kellett has come onto the field to try a 43-yard field goal. His first attempt of the afternoon, has the wind at his back. Matt has been good on 8 of 16 so far this season. This one will be short. And it is brought out of the end zone by Michael Platt. He is running hard, and he'll bring it out across the 35 and is forced out of bounds at his own 37-yard line, where the Wildcats will scrimmage 1st and 10. We have got 10 minutes, 48 seconds left to go here in the 4th and final quarter. The Rams lead the Wildcats 21-3 in this PFC semifinal. You are listening to Rams Football. the Regina Rams and the Edmonton Wildcats. With 10 minutes, 48 seconds left to go, the Rams lead the Wildcats 21-3. And right now we do have a Wildcat down on the field, Paul. And I have yet to make out his number yet.
Yeah, we can't get a real good look at him as the trainers for the Wildcats are huddled over top of him, but appears to be maybe just a little bit groggy out there as they've now got him to a sitting position and making sure that he's got all his faculties about him before they get him to his feet and get him off the field. But the Regina Ram defense here in the second half has not given up a first down to the Edmonton Wildcats. Really a remarkable achievement, and a lot of that credit has to go to the guys up front in terms of the pressure they put on Chris Hardy and keeping him in the pocket. And when they do force him to throw, the D-backs are there, they're knocking the ball down, they're picking it off. So just an absolutely outstanding effort by that Ram defense here this afternoon against the Edmonton Wildcats.
Ben Seward was the injured Edmonton Wildcat down on the play. And he walked off under his own steam, so he should be okay and back for the Wildcats' next defensive series. But for now, they have the football, 1st and 10 from their own 35. Hardy under some pressure gets the ball away to Chris Locke. It was complete for a gain of 6 yards.
Well, Chris Hardy, I'm not sure how he got that ball away that time, but some big heat put on by middle linebacker Randy Sorchinski coming on that blitz, not allowing Hardy to get out of that pocket. And again, the Rams will give up those 6-yard passes right now. The Wildcats, as I mentioned, have to do something more dramatic.
And they're going with the hurry-up offense. The give is to Loader, but he is brought down in the backfield by another one of those Moose Jaw lads. Jeff Haggerty threw to lay the big hit on Loader.
Well, and that's just indicative of what's happened here with the Edmonton Wildcats. They managed to get that first down play and pick up about 6 yards, but then elect to go to the ground with 10 minutes left in the ball game here. You're trailing 21-3. You've got to put that ball in the air and at least show that you're trying to win this ball game.
And in the other PFC semifinal this afternoon, taking place as we speak in Saskatoon, the Hilltops playing host to the Calgary Colts. And if our nice operator back at the station, Larry Lanigan, is listening, maybe he can find us a score from Saskatoon. On the punt return, it's Jason Beulah. Nowhere to go for him. He is down at about the Rams' 42-yard line.
But again, catching the ball and being the lone return man back there, that's what you want out of the punt returner for the Regina Rams. Just make sure you catch that ball before it gets on the field. Jason Beulah doing a good job of stepping up, picks up that 29-yard punt by Chris Hardy on that play. That gives the ball back to the Rams out about their own 42-yard line.
Darren Bird is the center. The Rams O-line, who has been doing a pretty good job here this afternoon. Corey Borsa, Scott Waters are the tackles. Trent Langford and Dougie Clark are the guards. On first down, Leeson puts it to the far sidelines to Josh Shaw. Do a quick hitter pass. We have a late flag down on the play as well after Shaw picked up a gain of about 8 yards.
Well, he was on the turf and one of the Wildcat defenders came over and laid a very late hit on him. Actually appeared to hurt him a little bit, but the official on the spot threw the flag right away, so that's going to tack on another 15 yards for unnecessary roughness against the Edmonton Wildcats. Getting some chattering from the bench now, and another flag flies out. So they are going to be marching this off against the Edmonton Wildcats. Got Josh Shaw down right now, one of the trainers over there attending to him, so obviously feeling the effects of that late hit as he was definitely on the ground, but piled on top of. And the Edmonton Wildcats, as I mentioned, wheels are coming off here now as they're taking a couple of very stupid penalties.
The ball now moved all the way inside of Hilltop's territory down to their 36-yard line. A couple of costly penalties for the Wildcats coming at a bad time of the football game for them.
Well, that ups their total to 16 penalties for a total of 155 yards on the afternoon. So obviously losing their composure a little bit here on the Taylor Field turf and trailing the Regina Rams 21-3.
9 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. Leeson on first down, wants to pass, gets it away for brother Michael, has some room to the outside. He'll have the first down and is forced out of bounds at about the Wildcats' 20-yard line.
Well, again, a good job by Mike Leeson just going up in the air over on that far side of the field. Drags down that throw. Darrell Leeson with a couple-step drop, flips it immediately into that open area. Mike Leeson does the rest, just turning upfield, and he gets down to the 20-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats. So that Ram offense has really come alive here in the second half.
Michael Leeson comes out of the ball game. Sean Harvey comes in at one of the slot back positions. Chad Eamon is the other. Dan Goodmanson and Jason Beulah are the wideouts. Leeson wants to pass again looking to the end zone. Eamon, the ball was attempted for him. We do have a flag down, and we might have an interference call there, as it looked like number 20 for the Edmonton Wildcats, Shane Sauer, had a hold of Eamon's jersey.
Well, he's not going to call that, though. He's going to call procedure on the Regina Rams, so it must have been one of the slot backs actually trying to hit that line of scrimmage in full flight, and obviously broke the plane a little too quickly.
Procedure.
Because official on the near sidelines here threw that penalty flag, called the Rams for illegal procedure, so that'll put them in a second down as the pass was incomplete. The Wildcats are going to decline that penalty, and the Rams will go now 2nd and 10 from just outside of the Edmonton Wildcat 20-yard line.
Harvey comes out. Michael Leeson comes back in. 2 receivers for the Rams to each side of the field. On 2nd and 10, Leeson drops straight back for brother Michael. Complete down to the 5-yard line. That will be another Regina Rams first down.
Well, again, a big catch by Mike Leeson, and he paid the price that time, just stretched out by his brother. Darryl delivers the ball over the middle. He's forced to go up high. A good hit put on by the Edmonton Wildcats, but Mike Leeson hangs on to the football. The Rams have it down at the Wildcat 5-yard line.
And the fact that they're this close to the goal line, they bring in some of the big boys.
Double diesel. Haven't seen that too much today.
No, we haven't seen it too much this season, as a matter of fact, as compared to last year when they used it a lot with the likes of Brent Ripplinger in the backfield.
Well, this is like triple diesel out here right now, because you got Corey Borsa, Todd Orthner, and Jamie Bailey in there.
Jamie Bailey takes the handoff, and he'll have a gain of about 2 or 3, down to about the 2-yard line. It will be 2nd and goal for the Rams from there.
Well, I think they'll just keep hammering away here because the clock continues to wind down. We've got 8 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Ball sitting on about the 2.5-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats. Rams looking at 2nd and goal from there.
We've got 7 minutes and 50 seconds left to go here in the 4th and final quarter of this PFC semifinal. The Rams lead it 21-3. After a slow start, the offense started moving the ball here in the 2nd half. The pitch is to Maurer, and he will tiptoe into the end zone for another touchdown for the Regina Rams. Maurer, nobody laid a hand on him as he went around the right side of the line and tiptoed into the end zone without being touched.
Well, that time when they ran the triple diesel the first time, they run that play inside. It's designed to go inside of that tackle. Jamie Bailey crashes in there, softens him up. Then they put the speedster in there, Mike Maurer at the tailback, and they run that play a little bit wider. And that one was wide open as everything crashed down to the inside, expecting to see the same look from that triple diesel formation. And the Regina Rams come up with another big score.
Here comes the point after attempt by Matt Kellett, and it is good. You can make the score. Regina Rams 28, the Edmonton Wildcats 3, with 7 minutes and 34 seconds left to go in this PFC semifinal. You are listening to Rams football. In Regina, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 15-yard line. Hardy rolling out to his right, looking deep downfield. Chris Frankowski to safety. The pass was attempted for number 21, Colin Andrews, but Frankowski a little too eager on that one, and there are flags down all over the field.
Well, exactly. There are 3 of them laying on the turf, and Chris Frankowski in for Dan Pascu now as the Regina Rams are starting to make some substitutions out here, giving some of the other youngsters an opportunity to play in this Prairie Football Conference semifinal. Give them a little taste of the action, get them ready for other games that are upcoming and possibly future years that they're going to have with the Regina Rams. Just a little over-anxious that time and got flagged, and that gave the Edmonton Wildcats their first down by a penalty.
My goodness, 6 minutes and 50 seconds left to go here in the 4th and final quarter. Hardy fakes the give to Lothar, then attempts the pass for Chrislock. Nowhere near him. It will be 2nd and 10, and Hardy went down hard with Randy Sroczynski providing the hit.
Well, Randy Sroczynski just coming from that middle linebacking position. Again, Hardy looked like he was going to roll out. Mike Milo had to contain on the outside. Again, forced him to pull up. Big heat by the inside linebacker, and Chris Hardy's taken one whale of a beating out here this afternoon, but he's like one of those famous watches. He keeps on ticking, and he's back on his feet and ready to play some more.
He is a good athlete, and I would hazard a guess that maybe next to Darrell Leeson, he might be just one of the better athletes here in the PFC. But he has had his hands full with the Rams defense here this afternoon. On 2nd and 10, Hardy wants to pass. Complete for Andrews, but he is brought down neatly short of the first down. Randy Sroczynski in there, Marco Ricci, and Derek Fink as well.
Well, again, they're not even, you know, the receivers are not running the right routes. They should be down there at least past that first down marker. This is going to put them in a 3rd and about 2 situation. So obviously completing a pass, but you complete it for 7 or 8 yards, and that's just not going to get it done against this very tough Rams.
Well, here, with time running out, 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to go, they trail by 25 points.
Well, obviously they're concerned about this decision. The ball sitting down about the 37-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats. They're looking at 3rd and 2. Chris Hardy to talk to head coach Jim Pankovic. I don't know what trick play they're going to pull out of their bag of tricks right now with 5 minutes and 53 seconds left in the ball game, trailing the Regina Rams 28-3, and having only picked up 1 first down in the second half, and that was via an interference call on the Regina Rams. The defense of the Rams has simply dominated the offense of the Edmonton Wildcats here this afternoon.
We mentioned the fact that the Surrey Rams lead the BC Conference with a perfect 9-0 record. They are likely to come out of there. Out of Manitoba, Paul, we lost a team this year, the St. Vital Mustangs. Winnipeg Hawkeyes look to have a pretty strong team, though, and they should come out of Manitoba.
Yeah, Winnipeg does have a very good team, actually. The problem that they're going to have is they have not played in 3 weeks now because there is just no competition over in that league, and that's going to be pretty tough for them to get ready. There's one other senior team that they have the odd exhibition game against, but I don't think they're going to be game tough the way that the winner of the Prairie Football Conference is going to be.
On 3rd and 2, Hardy pitches it off there to Lothar. He has the first down, little option play there as he gets across the 50 to about his own 52-yard line, so the Wildcats will hang on to the football.
Well, they're going to keep that drive alive anyway, so a little moral victory for them that time. Jim Pankovic obviously coming up with that option call over on the sideline with Chris Hardy, rolling him out and then flipping it out, getting Lothar around the corner, moves the ball out to the 51-yard line of the Wildcats now. 5:41 remaining to be played here in the game.
Hardy has 2 men in I formation behind him in the backfield, but he elects to pass once again, drops straight back, has some time, puts it deep downfield, has a man open, but there were 2 Ram defenders, Chris Frankowski and Derek Fink back there to knock the football away.
Well, we're going to get a roughing the passer call on the Regina Rams here. Chris Hardy is flat down on his face as he took a tremendous shot. I didn't get the number of who hit him, but I'm telling you, that was a very, very close call as that ball was just leaving his hands, and one of the Regina Ram defenders just arriving on the scene delivered a tremendous blow. Again, we've mentioned Chris Hardy, a very tough individual. He's had some big hits all day, but that pressure from the Ram defense has proven to be just too much for him. And again, with Mike Milo providing that contain over on the wide side of the football field, does a great job.
And it was, in fact, Michael Milo coming through to hit him, and Michael still down on the field looking around saying, who, me? It was a close one.
Well, actually, it was amazing that that call was made, because that ball was just leaving his hands as Mike Milo arrived on the scene. A big hit, and Chris Hardy obviously down here with 5:24, almost a meaningless situation in terms of losing your quarterback, although you wouldn't want to see anything too seriously wrong with a very talented athlete that plays a big part of the Edmonton Wildcat football team.
Well, Paul, we do have a score from Saskatoon in the third quarter in the other PFC semifinal. The Hilltops leading the Colts 13-0.
Whoa, so we've got a barn burner up there as well, eh? Very interesting, and it's going to be potentially setting up one of those big showdowns again with the Regina Rams and the Saskatoon Hilltops. We've seen that many times over the years. Saskatoon Hilltops defeated the Regina Rams here at Taylor Field this year, 16-12 on the turf, so we'll see what happens as this game unfolds and the one in Saskatoon comes to a conclusion as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to saying hi to Kelly Bowers next time I see him.
Well, he's certainly one of your big fans and knows that you are a tremendous broadcaster and obviously spends a lot of time listening to things that you have to say.
5 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in this ball game. Mole is the quarterback. Stroczynski threw in a hurry, and Mole, fighting for his life, lets the ball go through as Michael Milo had him wrapped up, and Mole was just basically fighting for his life there, threw the ball away.
Well, he was fighting for his life for sure, and again, smart play by the Regina Ram defense. You got a young quarterback in there, a new quarterback, come with the big blitz, see if you can disrupt him. He's seen what's just happened to Chris Hardy, and obviously not real anxious probably to be out there at this stage of the game, trailing 28-3. He's got to make something happen for his team if he wants to even have a remote chance of getting them back in this football game.
It will be 2nd and 10. It is 28-3 for the Rams over the Wildcats. And did they take too long in snapping the football? Yes, they did.
Well, the Lions band is striking up, na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye here at Taylor Field. So obviously they feel that the ball game's in the bag right now. You look down at the scoreboard, 4:48 remaining to be played. Rams out in front, 28-3. 20 first downs for the Regina Rams, only 7 for the Edmonton Wildcats. So that's really the story of the game. The Regina Rams were able to contain quarterback Chris Hardy, force him to the passing game, just simply not capable of getting it done.
But isn't that na-na-na song a Montreal Canadiens song?
Well, it's a beauty.
We don't want to listen to it. Mole on 2nd down has a man open, and it is complete on the far side of the field. Jason Chrislock on the receiving end, and it should be another Wildcats first down.
Well, and the most surprised guy on the field right now is Marco Ricci, as he was over there on that far side of the field, the ball sailing over his head, and tried to look back, but sailed over top of his outstretched hands, fell into Chrislock's hands for a big first down. So the Edmonton Wildcats, with a late drive here, move the ball down to the 34-yard line of the Regina Rams. They'll go from there, 1st and 10.
Yeah, Marco Ricci, the 5'8", 170-pound defensive back out of O'Neill, not at all happy with that one. Had some early movement, no flags down as Mole gives to Lothar up the middle.
Well, I think the officials are probably getting as anxious as everybody else to get out of here, and it was an obvious offside against the Edmonton Wildcats. They had to tackle about a yard into the backfield of the Regina Rams, and no penalty call on the play. Crashes forward for about a 5-yard pickup. They'll go from the 28-yard line of the Rams now, 2nd and about 5.
And you know, Paul, we have been pretty free and easy with our comments about the refereeing throughout the season, but I think it's safe to say they have done a darn good job here this afternoon.
I think that this is probably one of the better games. There's been a lot of penalties called here today, but certainly haven't disrupted the flow of the game as much as some of the other situations that we've seen over the course of the season.
Well, you have to give credit where credit is due, and they have done a pretty good job here this afternoon. Sean Healy took the handoff and had nowhere to go. It will be 3rd and about 2 yards to go for the Edmonton Wildcats, who are running out of time as we are down to 3 minutes to go in this ball game.
Well, running out of time and almost running out of downs as well, as they're down to a 3rd down gamble again here. So another big play to see if they can keep this drive alive. It's their 3rd first down here of the second half, bringing their total up to 8. So if they can get this ball inside of about the 23-yard line of the Regina Rams, they'll be able to keep the drive alive.
2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the 4th and final quarter. Rod Mole now at quarterback, looking to the end zone, Jason Crislock was in behind Marco Ricci, but Mole couldn't get him the football. And the Rams will take over on downs.
Well, that's going to be a third down gamble. It backfired. They had one work earlier on this particular drive on a little option play that they ran with Chris Hardy. And shortly after that, Chris Hardy took a big shot from Mike Milo. And he's resigned himself to the sidelines now. And Mole just unable to keep that drive alive. The Rams will take over at their own 26-yard line here. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play. And it looks like Chad Eamon is going to come in at quarterback for the Regina Rams.
He is the second-string quarterback, and he's getting a chance to show what he can do with the football in his hands. He's got 2.5 minutes here left to put some more points up on the board for the Regina Rams. Eamon hands off to Kyle Ort. He has a nice run over to the right side of the Rams offensive line. And again, we have a late flag down on the play. And this one, I think, Paul, is going against the Regina Rams. Josh Shaw, still remembering that last one, kind of sent one of the Wildcats for a little tumble.
Well, probably wanting to get even with somebody out there. And obviously not a very good thing to do, but it's going to be a rough play call against the Regina Rams. Kyle Ort on that little counter action almost. Chad Eamon rolling to his left and then handing back to Kyle Ort, coming hard back to the right side behind Scott Waters and Trent Langford. Had a nice 7 or 8 yard gain, but that's going to get wiped out by the penalty and move the ball back to the 18-yard line of the Regina Rams, and they're going to go from there second and 20.
We should mention that for the playoffs, all teams have to get their rosters down to 40 players, and the Rams had some difficult decisions to make there.
There are always difficult decisions at this time of the year. There's some tremendous athletes, and obviously some of them are going to just have to sit down.
On first down, Eamon lets it go to Chris Orban. Orban still fighting for yards, then fumbles the football. Who's got it? Well, the Wildcats have recovered it inside their own territory at about the 52-yard line, but that was a pass from the second-string quarterback, Chad Eamon, to the third-string quarterback, Chris Orban. And Orban actually made a nice catch, was running hard, and then lost the football. And the Wildcats will take over and get one last chance, it appears, to put some points up on the board as they will scrimmage 1st and 10 from their own 52-yard line.
Well, I'm not sure why that play wasn't really whistled dead. It was obvious that Chris Orban was really stacked up there. He had 3 Wildcats holding on to him. Someone arrived on the scene late with a big hit and popped the ball loose and flew downfield for about another 20 yards, moved it out to the Wildcat 52-yard line, but with 2:15, they're going to get the ball back, and their quarterback, Rod Moll, is going to be back in the field to see if he can generate a little scoring punch and maybe finish off the year for the Edmonton Wildcats by putting some points on the board against a very tough Ram defense.
Chris Orban, I do believe that is his first reception of the season. As we mentioned, he is normally the third-string quarterback for the Regina Rams, comes in and holds on the field goals and point-after attempts. But I'm sure Dad Jerry Orban, who coaches the offensive line, will have something to say to son Chris when he comes off the field.
I'm sure he will. Probably congratulations on your first catch.
Well, we do have another Wildcat down on the field way back at about the Rams' 12-yard line. That's what's holding up things right now.
Is that number 63, Ben Seward, again down there? He's been down a couple of times here this afternoon, but obviously being attended to by the Ram trainers. And we've got Karen Gilmore down on the Ram sidelines right now, and he looks like he's got some sort of an injured shoulder or something, has his shoulder pads off and his warm-up jacket on right now for the Regina Rams. So one of the backup defensive linemen of the Regina Rams, a good young prospect, another one out of that Moose Jaw high school football system, and they certainly have been a big part in recent years of this Regina Ram football program. Some very quality individuals coming over from that city and playing here with the Regina Rams and making a big contribution to the efforts of this team.
Karen Gilmore, 6'2", 215 pounds, out of Vanier Collegiate in Moose Jaw. He's a good one, and he can look forward to a very bright future with this Regina Rams organization.
And if he doesn't make it with them, he might make it with the Regina Symphony. As I mentioned to you before, he is a flautist with them.
A man of many talents, Karen Gilmore. On 1st and 10, Rod Moll gives to Ryan Lother, and he has a gain of about, make it 2 yards. And Paul, it's kind of beyond me why at 2 minutes and 11 seconds left to go and you trail by 25 points that you want to run the football. But, however, almost an interception. Yes, it is.
Unbelievable interception that time.
Tip drill there. I guess that's why they do that, huh?
Tip drill 2 or 3 times that time, and Derek Fink, coming from his cornerback spot, dove in there, managed to get that ball deflected off the receiver and then off of Chris Frankowski, and Derek Fink arrived, dove in there, picked up that ball, so that's going to be a turnover for the Regina Rams and give them the ball back at their 35-yard line.
Well, I do believe that Chris Orban, who caught a pass last time, might be at the controls now. No, he's still in as a receiver. Chad Eamon is the quarterback, and Chris Orban is playing at one of the slot back positions. With 2 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in this ball game. Eamon wants to pass, pump fakes, and then goes down in the backfield. He was looking across the middle for either Michael Leeson or Chris Orban. Orban was actually open in behind everybody deep down the field.
Well, Chad Eamon that time wanting to get away a bit of a quicker pass, didn't take a very deep drop, only stepped back to about the 33-yard line, about a 3-yard drop that time, and the offensive line just sort of collapsed around him. He didn't have any room at all to throw that football, and went down under a wave of Wildcat and Regina Ram offensive linemen.
It will be 2nd and 12 for Eamon and the Rams. Eamon puts it up in the air looking for Goodmanson, just out of his reach. It will be 3rd and 12 for the Regina Rams. They will have to punt it away once more.
Well, again, Dan Goodmanson just streaking down the near sidelines here with that great speed. The ball just thrown a little bit too far out to the sidelines. Tried to adjust to the football, but was unable to track it down from Chad Eamon. That'll bring Matt Kellett onto the field again, and with that wind behind him, let's look for a big punt from Matt Kellett here as time winds down in the 4th quarter now with only 1 minute and 39 seconds left in the ball game.
Len Andrews is usually the man receiving the punts for the Edmonton Wildcats, but he was injured early in the first half, and he is not returned for the second half of this ball game. Kellett gets away a low one that bounces to Michael Plant at the 40. He gets away from one man, still going, gets to the outside, and is finally forced out of bounds at about the Wildcats' 52-yard line with 1 minute and 28 seconds left to go in this ball game.
Well, only a 37-yard punt by Matt Kellett that time. Really didn't take advantage of the wind. It was more of a low driving kick that hit the field. We've got 2 flags down about the 30-yard line of the Edmonton Wildcats, and that usually signals that they might have had too many men on the field. Those officials that are deep downfield are responsible to count up the number of players that are out there, so we're going to get a couple of penalty calls here. I think one against the Wildcats and one against the Regina Rams, and we'll let the officials sort that out and find out where the ball's going to be spotted and play this last minute and 28 seconds with the Regina Rams obviously in a position now where they are going to advance to the Prairie Football Conference Championship next weekend here at Taylor Field on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock.
And we talked about the Surrey Rams, the class of the British Columbia League. We talked about, well, one of the only teams in the Manitoba Junior Football Conference, the Winnipeg Hawkeyes. They will likely face the Rams or whoever comes out of this conference. And in the Ontario Football Conference, we have the Windsor AKO Fratmen on top at 8-0 of that conference. They have yet to lose a game. Ottawa Sooners in 2nd place at 6-2. And the Hamilton Hurricanes, who played the Regina Rams in the Canadian Championship last year, now at 4-4.
Well, we've got some good teams that are going to yet to be played here by the Regina Rams if they continue on, and certainly Windsor is one of those particular teams. The Ontario Football Conference is going to host the national championship this year, so if the Regina Rams continue on in their march, they'll be taking their show on the road down to Windsor, Ontario if they come out of that particular league. And the last time the Windsor team hosted the national final, did a very good job down there. They had a full house of people at their stadium. Not a real big park that they have, but there must have been at least 5,000 or 6,000 people that were jammed in there. Very exciting atmosphere. The Calgary Colts were representing the PFC in the Western Conference that year and came up with a big victory after having knocked off the Regina Rams that particular year and won their 2nd back-to-back Canadian National Championship.
Well, it looks like the Rams are going to have to punt again from their own 28-yard line after all is said and done here.
With too many men,
And Matt Kellett will handle the kicking chores. He'll punt from about his own 12-yard line. Michael Plant standing at about the Wildcats' 35-yard line.
Well, we'll see if Matt Kellett can get this ball up in the air a little more. His last one was a low driving punt, and certainly would like to get it up in the air and take advantage of that wind behind his back.
Snap is a good one. This time, Matt gets away a bit of a better punt. It bounces at about the 40, chases Plant back to his 30. He's across the 40. Chris Frankowski was down there quickly, almost made the tackle. Plant got away from him, but just up to the 42-yard line, where the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10 with 1 minute and 16 seconds left to go in this ballgame.
Well, they're going to get marched back a little bit again, as there's a holding call on that particular return against the Edmonton Wildcats, so that'll bring that ball back a little bit further right now and force them to start down about their own 30-yard line. They'll go from there, 1st and 10 with 1 minute and 16 left to play here in the ballgame.
Rod Mole is in at quarterback right now for the Wildcats. A couple of key injuries here this afternoon for the Wildcats. Their starting quarterback, Chris Hardy, left a few series ago after getting cranked by Michael Milo. And in the first half, Len Andrews, their top running back, the top rusher in the PFC, as a matter of fact, went down with an injury as well. A pass attempted there for number 27 for the Wildcats, Scott Vicarius, who has not caught a ball all game long, and it was incomplete. It will be 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats.
Well, not too many people have caught balls for the Edmonton Wildcats here this afternoon. Chris Locke has 4 for 27. Cunningham has 4 for 32. Alaniak has 1 for 4. And Anderson, I think it is, had 2 for 32. So they haven't really done much on offense here this afternoon. About 137 yards of total offense for the Wildcats. Again, some complete domination by that Ram defense.
Mole gives the ball up the middle to Lowther. He might have a gain of 2 yards, but it'll definitely be 3rd and long for the Edmonton Wildcats.
Well, Johnny Carmichael in there at that inside linebacking spot right now just stepped up into the hole as Lowther got there and came up with the big tackle, and that's going to force the Edmonton Wildcats to punt the football. Chris Hardy, I see, trotting back on the field, so obviously he's not too seriously injured, as he's still capable of handling the punting chores for the Wildcats, and that's good to see. A game effort by Chris Hardy, but just didn't have enough to be able to get it done against a very tough Ram defense.
To their credit, they held the Rams pretty much in check for the first half. And then the roof caved in here in the second at Taylor Field. Hardy gets away, not a bad punt after the bounce. Chases Beulah back to his 30-yard line, and he is forced out of bounds right there with 54 seconds left to go in this ballgame.
And we've got another flag down on the field right now, so we'll wait for that call. But Jason Beulah, again, doing a good job of just getting hold of that ball, making sure there's no turnovers here, and get that Regina Ram offense on the field, run a couple of plays, and get out of this park, back on the bus, and back to the clubhouse, and start to get ready for the big game next week against what appears to be the Saskatoon Hilltops.
And I do believe Chris Orban is going to get a chance to lead the offense here. As mentioned, the third-string quarterback, 5'10", 185 pounds, out of Ripple High School here in Regina.
And he's a fine young prospect for the Regina Rams as well, possesses a very good arm. He and Dan Goodmanson were a tremendous duo when they both played at Riffle. And unfortunately, Dan is not on the field right now to see if Chris Orban could get the ball to him.
Chris Orban hands off to Kyle Ort. Actually, make that Orther. Todd Orther has the first down, but then fumbles the football. Who's got it? I do believe the Wildcats do, and they will take over in Rams territory at about the 32-yard line.
Well, I think they're going to rule that that was down, actually. Todd Orther fumbled the ball, but it popped back. Looked like one of the Regina Rams jumped on it. The Wildcats were trying to influence the official into giving them the ball, but he wasn't going to be fooled by their antics out there, and it remains in the possession of the Regina Rams. And now we've got that duo on the field, Chris Orban and Dan Goodmanson. See if he goes to his old favorite target from high school, and they can complete another one of their patented long bombs.
30 seconds left to go in this ball game. This time they just give the handoff to Kyle Ort. He fights hard for about 8 or 9 yards, right back up the middle.
Well, just going straight ahead here, and obviously just trying to grind this clock out. 24 seconds remaining to be played. Good tough run right up the middle by the Regina Rams. Picks up 7 yards out to the 39-yard line. They're looking at 2nd and 3 now the clock running and down to 20 seconds left in the ball game.
Well, Goodmanson went over to the bench quickly and brought a signal onto the field for Chris Orban. Let's see what they do here. On second and 10. Again, once again, is to Ortner, who fights hard and should have that Rams first down. And again, we have a late flag down on the play.
Well, we've got a late flag, and unfortunately, we got 1 second left on the clock here, so we're going to have at least one more play run by the Regina Rams, and probably be a good idea to just take that ball, step back to center, ground it. The Regina Rams are going to be successful here in the semifinal against the Edmonton Wildcats, and certainly now move on to the Prairie Football Conference Final. And everything was working well for the Regina Rams here in the second half. They had some trouble in the first half on offense, but got things settled down again and came up with a very big victory against the Edmonton Wildcats.
Time for one last play here this afternoon at Taylor Field, folks. This is, or was, the PFC semifinal. The Regina Rams and the Edmonton Wildcats. Time for one last play. They pitch it to Ort. He is hit hard and brought down. Flags down on the play. We have to see what these are about before the game is officially over. Somebody was offside. Offside Edmonton. They're going to decline the penalty.
I think they should.
They do, and that is it, folks. This PFC semifinal is in the history books. The final score, the Regina Rams 28 and the Edmonton Wildcats 3. The Rams will now move on to take on either the Calgary Colts or the Saskatoon Hilltops.